Ooh, what is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video, and I did the wrong intro again. I did it again. Stand up, New York Giants fans. What's going on? What's going on, Edward Chen? What's going on, Afghanistan? What's going on, Scotty H? Emmanuel's in the house. The NFL News Show's in the house. What's going on, Self? What's going on? Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Caesar, Munoz, Chris Leone, the NFL News Show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Emmanuel, what's going on, my man? What's going on, Rogue Dog? I want to make sure I pronounce that right. Rogue Dog, because I have another subscriber called Rogue Dog. And you came up with the idea on Twitter, I saw, to post a subreddit. I'm not too familiar with Reddit. I've had subscribers ask me to do that in the past. I will definitely look into it, and I'm sure it could potentially help my channel grow. So I'll definitely look into that. I appreciate the suggestion. And I hope everybody's having a good night tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Sadan Smith is in here. Giants Alliance, some of my best. What's going on, bro? What's going on, Brandon Rogers? He's got a channel as well. Go check him out along with Big Blue Jabroni, as well as Giants Alliance. He's got a channel. He's got a great channel there. Looking forward to you know what? Matter of fact, Giants Alliance, I'm having Big Blue Jabroni on the channel next week. He already asked me on Twitter. He's going to be on next week. The only reason I don't have people on tonight is because I was just so busy this week. I didn't have enough time to organize it. So next Sunday, if you're free, I'd love to have both you guys on. So I definitely want to do something like that. I had you on about a month ago, but I would definitely love to have both you guys on. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. What's going on, Jawad? What's going on? Thank you guys for being here. Elvis says, I wonder how hands-on our position coaches are right now with players, specifically the O-line coaches and D-line coaches teaching techniques. It's a great question, and obviously they can't be too hands-on. With everything that's going on right now with the pandemic and everything else. That's a good question, though. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they're going over, the playbook and things of that nature, but I don't think they're being too hands-on, at least right now. People aren't really traveling for the most part, so hopefully they get to the facility, and hopefully we get things in gear soon, which will be July 28th. At least that's the reported date right now. What's going on, Meat? Christoph Porzingis, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for being here. Let's see what we got here. What did you do for the 4th of July? What did I do for the 4th of July? I stayed home, barbecued a little bit, watched the fireworks, nothing crazy, just relaxed for the day. Enjoyed the 4th of July. Watched the fireworks on the TV as well, watched fireworks in the backyard. I was supposed to go to a friend's house, but that got canceled, actually. It had nothing to do with what's going on. His family got pink eye, so wasn't able to go there. But I'm going to sip my coffee real quick. Let's go Mets is right. Can't wait for baseball to start. I'll definitely have some Mets content up as well in the coming weeks. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to doing some Mets streams. Should be a lot of fun. I'll definitely have some Mets videos up. Probably tomorrow, the day after. I've been reading the Mets news, trying to catch up on that. I saw that they had an inter-team scrimmage of some sort today. So it seems like things are getting into the fold with baseball, and hopefully that's the case, John. I know you're a huge Mets fan like myself. What's going on, NFL News Show, man? Thanks for popping in, man. Scott, I did see your video. Good stuff, Scott. Coffee, that's right, Scott Zell. One of my OGs is in the chat. What's going on, Scott Zell, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Maybe some Yankee talk. See, I would do Yankee talk. I'm not a Yankee. I know very little about the Yankees. I'm a diehard Mets fan. I don't really watch the Yankees. I mean, if I have Bad Dog on, I'm sure we could do a mixed, MLB Mets-Yankee show. But I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about the Yankees. I don't know much about them. I know they brought in Garrett Cole. I know that they're supposed to have a really strong team this year. But to be completely honest with you, I don't know enough about their team to really talk about them. I don't really follow the Yankees, I'm a Met fan. What's going on? I love you too, Scott, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. What's going on, New York Mets, New York Giants? Shout out. There's your shout out, NFL show. Do I not get love? I'm your best Lakers sub. What's up, Benjamin Wynn? Of course, man. Of course, my man. Huge Lakers fan in the chat. Pasha, what's up, man? I was at the Yanks-Mets game where Castillo... Oh, God. Quick story for that game you're talking about, Pasha. I was dating my first girlfriend at the time. My first real relationship. And we were at a bar for that game, Mets-Yankees. And the ball... It's a pop-up, to Castillo. And I think the sheriff was on first. And I got ready to leave. We were leaving. We were done with our meal. I had finished my beer. I was getting ready to get up and leave the pub. And, I was standing up ready to walk out. I'm like, all right, let's just wait for the last out. And the pop-up goes to Castillo, and I'm like, all right, game's over. I start to walk out, and as I'm leaving, everybody starts going bananas. Everyone's screaming. And, yeah, that was definitely a tough moment as a New York Mets fan, having to lose in that fashion. That was brutal. I also remember the Billy Wagner game, where Wagner I was at that game, that's why I remember it, blew a 4-run lead in the 9th to the Yankees at Shea Stadium before it was Citi Field. So we've definitely had some really, really tough experiences as Mets fans, that's for sure. Oh, Vidge, man, thank you so much for the love, man. I appreciate it, man. Vidge is a family friend, man. I appreciate you popping in the stream, man. Always shows me and my brother a lot of support on the new movie channel. Thank you so much for being here. He says, Suzanne Summers can tell you something about the Yanks. Suzanne Summers, Vidge, she has to have the most annoying voice in New York sports history. And the one thing I can't get out of my head when it comes to Suzanne Summers, and I'm sure Yankee fans in the chat remember this moment, it's when Clemens came back to the Yankees, and she's Roger Clemens is in the press box. Oh my God. And she was just going on and on and on about it. And she seemed as if she was going to have a heart attack. She has the most disgusting voice in the history of New York sports. Roger Clemens. I can't do it, but she kind of sounds like that. What's going on, Saheed, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's going on, Crispy, man? Thanks for being here, buddy. Let's see. What's up, Makeup Minion? What was the last Giants game you went to? Mine was Saquon. The last Giants game I went to was actually the game I went to with Bad Dog. Was last year, Giants-Jets. Giants should have won that game. Daniel Jones throws 4 touchdowns, and they find a way to lose against the New York Jets. I'll tell you what, man. I have a very bad track record with going to New York Giants games. I went to 2 in 2007 when the year that they won the Super Bowl. They lost both games. They went 10-6 that year. They lost both games I went to. I think I went to the Cowboys game, if I'm not mistaken. I think I went to a Redskins game. I could be wrong on that, but I know I went to 2 games that year. And now, to be fair, they were a much better road team that year, both in the regular season and in the playoffs, obviously. But yeah, I do not have good luck when I go to New York Giants games. They don't do well when I go. What's going on, Noah, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Suzanne Waldman. That's what I meant. Suzanne Waldman. I think he wrote. Did he write Summers or Waldman? No, he wrote Summers. That's why I got confused. Yeah, Waldman. She is the worst, Blue Collar. She is the absolute worst. What's going on, Mike Clark? Thanks for popping in the stream. Yeah, that was my mistake, Scott. Waldman. Scott, do you think Daniel Jones will have the second-year leap when he wins MVP and takes the Giants to the playoffs? No. If I'm being complete, I don't know. I'm not saying he won't have a second-year leap. I'm not predicting that the Giants go to the playoffs. I'm not trying to set the bar too high. I think that's way too high of an expectation right now if you're a New York Giant fan. Is it possible? Yeah. Am I going to rule it out? No. But I don't bank on it. Now, do I think Daniel Jones could have a huge year this year and take a big step forward? Yes. I'm kind of more on the conservative side. I think he's going to improve. I don't know how much better his stats will be, but I think you'll see better pocket awareness. I think you'll see less fumbling. And I think you'll see him make wiser decisions. Even though he had a pretty strong statistical year last year for a rookie, there were a lot of throws he made where you're like, did he really need to try to force that ball? I think you're going to see him mature this year. I think you're going to see him improve. I don't know how much better his stats will be, but I think you'll see a lot less fumbles. I think you'll see him make better decisions. But I do think the Giants are going to try to have a run-first approach. So I don't know how it'll translate in terms of the statistics, but I do think Daniel Jones will definitely improve in year 2. Oh, Blue Collar, man, thank you so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. He says, ESPN, give this man a job. Blue Collar, man, I could never say thank you enough, man. I don't realize I see you in the comments in my movie channel that I'm trying to do with my brother. It's always been a passion of my brother's of mine to get into movies. And it's more so for fun, but, if it grows, great. If not, we talk about our passion. We talk about movies. So I appreciate everybody who came over there for that, man. And Blue Collar, you always support me, whether it's Twitter, whether it's YouTube. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And Kristaps Porzingis, man, thank you so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, you streaming NBA, best strip club you've been. Okay. Yes, I'll definitely be streaming the NBA. I don't know if I'm going to do it every night, but I'll be doing the playoffs because there's not going to be much else going on. Obviously, once it gets to regular season NFL, I'm not doing it. I'm going to focus on the Giants exclusively, and obviously I'm going to be pumping out a lot of New York Giants content around that time. But yeah, I'll do probably 2-3 playoff games a week during the playoffs in August. As far as that, like I told you, KP, I'm not big into that scene, but I will say, if you're ever in Vegas, check out the Spearmint Rhino. You heard it here first. Check out the Spearmint Rhino. They give you a free limo ride. The girls are to die for. So there you go. Oh, man, OGR, man, thank you so much, man, for the love, man. I appreciate that. OGR is another guy with a very underrated New York Giants channel. Highly suggest you guys check him out. I'm looking forward to having OGR. Love to have you on the channel soon, man. I was talking to a couple of Big Blue Jabroni. Love to have you back on the channel. You were on a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, or I'd love to come on your channel, whatever. But yeah, I always love working with OGR. Great guy. He says, I think Washington will end changing their name. The Bullets took 2 years to change to the Wizards. The Oilers took 2 years to change to the Titans. How long do you think Washington will take to change, and what should be the name? Great question. You know, and I'm a huge St. John's fan, OGR. I think you know that. If you don't, you know, I'm a big St. John's Hoops fan. And St. John's had a name, you know, that was related to Native Americans, and they changed their name back in mid-90s, late 90s. They became the Red Storm. They used to be called the Red Men, and they were forced to change the name. So I'm not too surprised by this. Now, like Bad Dog said, I don't know if this is the proper timing with everything that's going on in the world right now. You could probably focus your attention elsewhere, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a name of a football team. I'm not going to get too bent out of shape either way. What do I think they'll change it to? I mean, I've seen some interesting names. I've seen the Red Tails. I've seen some really cool alternate logos for that. I've seen the Generals. I've seen, like the Nationals is a really good name, but obviously that's the baseball team. But that was fitting when the Washington Nationals did it. It might, you know, I think it'll be something related to national, you know, the United States. If I had to guess. But I'm not 100% sure exactly what the name will be. The Capitals is another perfect name, but again, that's hockey. But it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, for sure, man. But OGR, man, thank you so much for love. If you guys haven't done so, please go over there and show him some love, man. What is going on, Formula Fitness? I'm glad to see him in the chat. Always a great supporter of my channel. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, man, we're only, I mean, if it starts on time, we're only now 3 weeks away. They said July 28th is supposed to start training camp, so keep your fingers crossed, man. Keep your fingers crossed. Obviously, with what's going on right now, who knows? But let's hope. You know, let's hope and pray that things get back to normal and we start to get some sense of normalcy. Let's see what we got here. Change the Vikings too. Vinny Zan says the Washington Trumpsters. The Washington. I'm trying. I don't know what, you know. The Red Tails logo looks awesome. I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to see that. I mean, obviously, we're all used to the Redskins name, and it'll probably take a year or a half year to get used to the new name, but we'll get used to it. I mean, things change. That's the way life is. Whether you agree with it or not, I mean, you move on. And it sounds as if, after I heard that FedEx was going to pull or threaten to pull their name from the hat or whatever, it sounds as if they're gonna have to change the name. The Washington Monuments isn't bad, Crispy. I think I've heard that one, too. That's not bad. That one's actually pretty good. I just wonder what the logo would be. You know, like on the helmet. What are you going to have? A picture of the Washington Monument? I don't know, but the name's not bad. What's going on, Sabrina? Thanks for popping in the stream. Would they want a team name to keep their brown and yellow? Oh, you mean the colors? I would hope so. You know, that's why Red Tails kind of makes sense. Because you could probably keep a similar color scheme. That's a good point. That's a good point. Not something I didn't really think about. That, to me, Sabrina, that would be weirder than the name change. Seeing the uniform change. Because obviously, our whole lives, we've been accustomed to the red and yellow, or the dark, whatever it is, the burgundy and the yellow of the Washington Redskins. The name change is something I think I'd get over quickly. Now, if they change their colors to like blue and orange, and I don't think they would, but that would be something that would take a lot longer for me to become accustomed to. That's a good point you bring up with the name change. Oh, man, OGR Sports. OGR, I don't know why. Thank you so much for loving, man. I really appreciate it. I don't know why that got retracted. OGR, do me a favor. Just type it in again, and I'll definitely read it out. Just type it in again. Don't super chat. Just type it in again. I'll definitely read it out. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was an accident by somebody else. What is going on? Blue Jackets talk. He said, what's going on, Andy, man? Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it. He says Washington Defenders You are quite drunk, Blue Jackets talk says. Well, I hope you sober up soon, man. Washington Generals would be cool for sure. Burgundy and gold, yeah. I'm not understanding what makes you think the Giants can go 8-8. Cool Kid said. Oh, Cool Kid. First off, Cool Kid, I want to say thank you, even though you're not a Giants fan. I don't think you're a Giants fan. You never tell me your fanhood. We always go back and forth in my comments, but it's always fun to talk to you. Hopefully OGR types that again. It's always fun to talk to you. But I'm not predicting them to go 8-8. I want to reiterate that. I'm saying 6 or 7 wins. I think 8 wins is possible. I also think 5 wins is possible. I think 5 to 8 wins is probably the ballpark for the Giants. Maybe 9 if everything breaks right, but realistically, I think 6, 7 wins. I think that's what we're looking at. I do think they're better than a lot of people make them out to be. You hear some people say they're going to win 3, 4 games. I think they're better than that. The Giants definitely play a challenging schedule, though, which is why I don't have them winning 8, 9, 10 games, because they do play one of the tougher schedules in the league. What's going on, Andrew Boyle? Thanks. Oh, man. OGR, man. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, man. I don't know if it was a mistake. Thank you so much, man, for love. I really appreciate it, man. He says, I was planning on having you on the channel closer to the season, but if you'd like to come on the Big Blue Courtroom in 2 weeks on Friday. Also, I screwed up on the Super Chat, so I just retracted. Okay. Man, OGR, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate that. And no, whenever you want to have me on, I'm just saying, I always love working with you. I would love to come on whenever, man, during the season, whatever. Definitely always love talking Giants with you. It was a pleasure to get to meet you at the Giants game. Jeff's a great guy. And yeah, man, I love working with Jeff whenever I can. Washington Arsenal's pretty good too. I like that. Oh man, Kristaps, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, whatever the Redskins change it to, they stink either way. Would you want Gettleman to go after the Hogs again next year, even if the O-line guys progress? KP says. That's a good question. Yes. I don't think the offensive line is finished. Now, I'm not saying first round, but yes, I think we still need a center for the future. We have to wait and see what we have with Lemieux, but I don't think it's a finished product yet. Now, I'm not saying take him in the first round, but yeah, if they really like a center there in the second round, I'm all for it. I want to get this offensive line situated as quickly as possible. Being that you have a young quarterback, you want to try to get that done as quickly as you possibly can. I'll tell you what, man. I try to be unbiased on this channel. Delano, man. Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for popping in the stream. I appreciate that. What's going on, Keith? Gangrene David, another content creator. Go check him out as well. I think the Redskins are actually headed in the right direction. Now, I don't know if they're going to get there, because I've thought that about the Redskins before, and then they screw it up. But I actually think the Redskins handled free agency kind of like the Giants very well. They thought about the future. They didn't make any rash decisions. They're starting to build that defense. It's going to come down to the quarterback, though. They need Dwayne Haskins to progress, and they need to fix that offensive line. But I could see in 2 years the Giants and Redskins being at the top of this division if Dwayne Haskins matures or they bring in another quarterback next year and they fix that offensive line. I do think they have an emerging defense. I still think they're at least 2 years away from being atop the division, or at least competing to be atop the division. Giants, I think, could be there as soon as next year. Let's see what we got here. Washington Commanders isn't bad. Hello, man. It's fun talking to you. No cap. You articulate well and not a giant nutcase. I appreciate that, Cool Kid. Yeah, Cool Kid, man. Always, man. Yeah, man. I always see you commenting on my videos. We always go back and forth, have a good conversation. Give me some hogs, Jawad. You and me both, Jawad. Jawad, when I go to bed at night before the draft, I dream that I'm on a farm. Okay? I dream that I'm on a farm next to a bunch of hogs. And that's all I dreamt about this entire offseason. I wanted a hog. We got 3 of them. We're building in the trenches. Haskins has potential. Yeah, no, Haskins has potential to be a backup quarterback, Jay. You might be right, Jay. You might be right. I'm not ready to say that quite yet, but he was not encouraging year 1. So far, you look pretty good with that prediction. Giants will need a right tackle next year. Elvis, we don't know. It depends on Matt Parrott. He was a 3rd-round pick, basically a 4th-round pick, 99th overall. People like him. It's not just the Giants fans. A lot of people liked him going into the draft. They viewed him as a guy with a lot of upside. So we'll see, but it's possible. You might, if they don't feel he's ready, I could see them trying to mold him into the 2022 tackle. If they don't feel he's ready for 2021, maybe you keep around a guy like Cam Fleming. Maybe you sign a stopgap guy for 1 year. But I do think right now, at least they're hoping the plan is Matt Parrott will be the right tackle. And I think he could be from everything that you read and hear. But, it's far from a definitive, it's far from definite. Let's put it that way. But I think he's definitely got a lot of upside. And I think most people really like that pick. Ben, man, thanks so much for that, man. I appreciate it. He says, be honest with me, Katie Nolan is hot, right? I don't agree with her reaction when Brady left New England, but if I wasn't taken, I definitely would hit up Rams house. She's definitely easy on the eyes, Ben. I'll say that much. That's for sure. She's definitely easy on the eyes, and if she wants to mingle, hopefully she subscribes to the channel. I'd always be up for talking to her. Nate, what's going on, Nate? Man, one of my best subscribers, man. I'm glad to see Nate in here. He's always so active on my Discord. He says, and actually, Nate, credit to Nate, by the way. Nate made my logo for my new movie channel. He made my intro for my new movie channel. So I can never say thank you enough for everything you do for me, man. Thank you very much. He says, ideal offseason 2021. Slayton has become a number one wide receiver. Ngakoue to a 3-year deal. Draft Parsons in the first round. Draft Creed Humphrey in the second round. TJ Vasher in the third. That is a pretty damn good, that's ideal, right? We find our number one option with Slayton. Now, I know you're a big Slayton guy. I like Slayton too. I'm not ready to say that he's definitely a number one option, but I do like Slayton. But yeah, if he becomes a 1,200-yard receiver this year and you're comfortable with him being number one and you don't have to address the wide receiver early in the draft, that is ideal. If you're able to get, you and I both love Parsons. You know that I want the linebacker just as much as you do. So if you could draft Parsons, who's regarded as the best linebacker in next year's draft, I'm all in. And in the second round, everybody loves Creed Humphrey at the center position. So, yeah, that would be a great draft. Obviously, like you said, a lot of that is predicated on whether or not Darius Slayton takes that big step forward this year. Kristaps Porzingis, man, thank you so much for love, man. I appreciate it. Chris and the Bad Dog love women. What can we say? Well, we're men. We're men. I think most men in this chat love women. But thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, Word, man? I'm glad to see you in here, man. I try to shout out everybody. Thank you for being here. Damon's in the house. I see us getting 10 wins or more. I love the optimism. I do. I love the optimism. Let's see what we got here. Lewis, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, what happens if we don't have a season? Lewis, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've thought about it myself. Like, what do we do? What do I do? Hopefully we do. That's all I could say. Right now, I'm going based off the opinion that we're going to. The NFL has, tried to push forward. They haven't even left a doubt. They've come out and said we're going to have a season. But by the same token, what else do you expect them to say? They're going to do everything they can to have a season. If we don't have a season, I'm going to come up with content. I always do. I'm definitely always going to try to give you guys a daily video whenever I can, but it will definitely be challenging. That's for sure. So hopefully we have a season, and just for my sanity, not just for my YouTube channel, to be able to watch sports, to get back to normalcy. But all signs right now are pointing that way. Obviously, you're seeing the spike and everything, and I know that gets people nervous, and I completely understand that, and it's all about the players' health. But right now it seems like the major leagues are, not just major leagues with baseball, all the major leagues, MLB, NBA, NFL, it seems like they all have a plan to play right now. Could it change? Yeah. But right now, you look overseas now, granted, they, apparently handled this much better than we did. You see the numbers, they're way down, but they're playing sports right now. So we'll see. We'll see if we're able to have a season. Hopefully that's the case. Hey, Chris, sorry for being late. You never got to apologize, man. JP, man, thank you for popping into the stream, man. I really appreciate it. Could there be a shorter season? Yes, Johnny, there definitely could. There definitely could. The NFL actually made a schedule in case that's the case. If you look at the NFL schedule right now, every team in the league, because normally this isn't the case. It could be, it could be 3 home games, 1 road game, 3 road games, 1 home game. The first 4 games, every single team plays 2 home and 2 away. The reason they did that was in case they had to cut it short to 12 games. So they designed the schedule specifically for that. And if the New York Giants had to cut 4 games off, it might not be the end of the world, because we start with a pretty rough schedule. You're talking about the 49ers, you're talking about at LA, the Steelers and at the Bears. Our easier games, I think most people would agree, or more winnable games, are in kind of the middle of the schedule. So it wouldn't be the end of the world. Of course, I'd like to save that Bears game if we could, but you get to escape the 49er game. But of course, obviously, we're hoping we get 16 games for sure. Blue Collar Man, thanks for love. I appreciate it. He says, if Haskins doesn't work out and it seems like Jerry is not a Dak fan, does Dak get Munson and become a Redskin next year? I absolutely love that movie. That is a great reference to Kingpin. And I was kind of worried when I did that podcast, the movie podcast, that most people wouldn't know what that movie was. But that's always been just a huge favorite of me and my brothers. We both love that movie. Like, we quote that movie all the time. And Munson is one of the quotes from the movie. I appreciate that. He says, it seems like Jerry's not a Dak fan. Dak gets Munson and becomes a Redskin next year. You know what? It's not crazy. It's not crazy. I mean, he's going to go to, whoever be able to pay him. But if Haskins wasn't good, I don't know the Redskins cap situation. I still think the Cowboys are going to franchise tag Dak a second year at a bare minimum. If they don't give him a 4 or 5 year extension, I think they at least pull a Kirk Cousins. And when I say a Kirk Cousins, the Redskins franchised him twice because the Cowboys probably, I think they're paying him 31.5. So next year they probably pay him 35, 36, but it's only a 1 year commitment. And then after that, that's when the Cowboys would have to let him go or give him the big time extension. So I still think Dak at least plays through 2021 as a Cowboy. That's just my opinion. That's definitely not a fact, but I think he'll play there for at least 2 more years. Thanks for love, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, Muhammadu, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I'm glad to see Scott in here, though, man. He's always been a great supporter of mine. He has all the tools and a knack for getting behind the defense. He just needs some small technique. I don't know who he's talking about there. Oh, you're probably talking about Slayton, Nate. Let's see what we got here. Our schedule is really tough for a young team. Yeah, KC. We play arguably the 2 toughest divisions in the sport. I mean, the AFC North and the NFC West. I mean, name 2 tougher divisions. When you look around the sport, name a division with a better third best team. I don't think you can. I mean, you look at the AFC North. I mean, whoever you decide, whether it's the Steelers or the Browns, that's a pretty good third best team. So we play a really deep division, and I don't think the Bengals are going to be as much of as a pushover as some people may think this year. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't win that game, but I don't think the Bengals are an automatic win like I would have viewed them last year. I think Burrow's definitely an upgrade. They get back Jonah Williams, who was the first-round pick the year before, who got hurt before the season started. They hope they have a healthy A.J. Green. They got T. Higgins in the draft. The Bengals are definitely going to be better than I think some people give them credit for. The AFC North is loaded, and the same can be said for the NFC West. A lot of people are very high on the Cardinals. I'm not, but most people are. Most people view them as at least a 7 or 8 win team, minimum. And of course, the Seahawks and Niners are Super Bowl contenders. So, and the Rams. Don't sleep on the Rams. The Rams could be better than people think. So the Giants play a very tough schedule. But in fairness, it's the entire division. It's not just the Giants. The Eagles play a tough schedule. The Cowboys play a tough schedule. So I don't expect 2 teams to come out of the East, but I could see 8 or 9 wins winning the division. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Just because of the schedule that we play. And I don't think anybody in our division is unbelievable. I think the Cowboys are the best team on paper, but they have to deal with a new coach. They have a weakness in the secondary. Who knows how the new center, they have question marks. They're not as big of a slam dunk as people make them out to be. Hey, Chris, sorry, was at the... Are you kidding me, man? Thanks for being here, man. Hopefully you enjoyed your 4th. Hopefully everybody had a happy 4th of July. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. What's up, Chris? I'm from Saudi Arabia, and I'm a big fan of your channel. I appreciate that, Ibrahim, man. Thank you very much for being here, man. I really appreciate that. And that's awesome. I always love... I'm going to have the subscribers on next week, Sunday. But I always love when I get subscribers from outside of the States. It's awesome, to see people still, watch my content, even though they're not from here. Obviously, football is, for the most part, popular in the United States. Obviously, it's grown in the UK. I get a lot of UK people on my channel. But yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you for tuning in, man. Benjamin, thank you so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, why does Carson touch his breast before? Benjamin, you must have watched my live streams last year. And if you didn't, well, then we think alike. Because that's all I ever pointed out whenever I watched an Eagles game last year. That's all he did. Whenever he audibled, he felt his breasts up every single time. He'd come to the line of scrimmage, he'd feel his left tit. Come to the line of scrimmage, feel his right tit. That's what Carson Wentz does. I don't know. Maybe he's lactating. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Delano, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. Scott, man, I'd love to have you on the show one time, man. Delano, when Chris becomes a celebrity, he's going to do commercials like Ernie McCracken. Yes! Yes! Delano knows the kingpin. Delano, go a little bit deeper. Go a little bit deeper. As he's looking at the girl's ass. Go a little bit deeper. Go a little bit deeper. Delano, man, thanks for love, man. I appreciate it. Delano's always been such a great supporter of my channel, man. I hope you're doing well out there. Hope you're staying safe, and thank you very much. Kristaps, man. Kristaps, man. KP, man. Thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, I always mention it when I do Eagle games. Yeah. MLB schedule not to be released tomorrow. Can you do to be released tomorrow? Can you do a reaction breakdown of the Mets games at the beginning of the season? Also, what's better, Major League Baseball or Bull Durham? I love the new movie channel, Darnold Stinks. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more content on the movie channel. I'm going to do similar to what I did today with the quiz. I talked to my brother today. I want to start doing that for movies. It's just fun, and it's content. Definitely want to get more movie podcasts up, and do more live streams. Try to do at least one a week there. That was a lot of fun the other night. Just getting to talk movies with you guys was so much fun. Getting to talk movies with my brother. It's one of my favorite things to do. As far as the schedule, yeah, if the schedule is released, I'll do it. I'm definitely going to do a video on that tomorrow for the Mets. I did see that the Mets are opening up against the Braves, I think at home, if I'm not mistaken, at Citi Field. But yeah, I'll definitely do a video breaking down the Mets schedule. And I can't wait for baseball. Bull Durham. Did you say Bull Durham? Let me just make sure. Bull Durham's a great movie. No wait. Yeah, my favorite baseball movie is Field of Dreams. Also Major League. I take that back. Major League is my favorite baseball movie because of its rewatchability. And it's so hysterical. But in terms of like an actual like great movie, I'd have to go with Field of Dreams. It's incredible. I highly suggest watching both. Thanks for the love, man. What's going on, Nate? What do you think about Washington changing their name? Yeah, somebody asked me that earlier. Obviously that's gonna be a popular question right now. At the end of the day, I think people are bored right now on both sides. That's just my honest opinion. I'm always going to share my honest opinion on here. I think people are bored on both sides of this argument. I think the people, and I don't know who started this and said, oh, we have to change the name. I don't know who started it. So I can't speak on that. But I don't know if it's the appropriate time to be doing that with everything that's going on right now. But then the people that are going crazy about, oh, you can't change the name. I mean, I just think they're bored and they're looking for something to complain about. At the end of the day, it happens all the time. It's happened throughout the course of history with sports. It happened 20 years ago with the Bullets. It happened with the Red Storm for the same exact reason. So we move on. It's something that you'll forget about in a year. So I honestly, I think both sides, at the end of the day, it's a football team. It's a team name. It's nothing that I'm going to get bent out of shape about. Is the timing appropriate? No. Do I understand that people don't like the whole PC thing? Sure. But it's something that we'll forget about in a month. In terms of the name, hopefully they come up with a good name. That's my take on it, But Sabrina brought up a really good point. I hope they keep the colors because that's something that we've been accustomed to. We don't want them to change the colors. What do you like most about Joe Judge so far? What I like most about Joe Judge so far, his intelligence, his work ethic. I mean, that's what I could speak on. The way he talks to the press. The guy is incredibly prepared, whether it was bringing in the coaching staff, whether it was, the draft itself. It is clearly evident that the guy's had a plan from the start. So, if there is one thing, and I say this all the time, if there is one thing that I think Joe Judge is going to be a huge improvement on over Pat Shurmur, it is going to be the in-game adjustments late in the game, the timeouts, how he handles the timeouts. I mean, we complained about that every week with Pat Shurmur last year. He'd waste all 3 timeouts before the 4-minute mark. I don't see that with Joe Judge. I think Joe Judge, with little things like that, I think he's going to be prepared. I think he's going to be a very good in-game coach with things like that. In terms of game plan, I can't speak on that yet. But I think he's going to come prepared. I think he's well thought out. I think he's very intelligent. So that's what I'll say about Joe Judge. Let's see what we got here. Yo, what's up, Entertainer? How's it going? Long time, man. Love your streams, brother. I appreciate you for popping in, Flex, man. Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody for being here. And if anybody ever, like I said, I'm going to try to do a couple of streams a week on both channels. The movie channel, it's going to obviously be much smaller. I got 300 subscribers. Obviously, it's going to be focused mainly on movies, but if anybody ever wants to come in there, hang out in the streams, you guys are more than welcome to. I don't know the days yet. We're probably going to do that at least once a week, if not twice a week, though. And that should be a lot of fun, too. So I get to talk to you guys more because it's a smaller stream. But, yeah, man, I appreciate you for popping in, man. Thank you very much. Geez, don't get me started with those Jawad, man. The timeouts were awful last year. Favorite baseball movies are Major League, Long Gone, and For the Love of the Game. Hate Kevin Costner's character. No, yes, that was a good one too. Kevin Costner, Delano, is a huge baseball fan. Huge baseball fan. Yeah, that's a really good one too, For Love of the Game. I'm a Met fan, so I wasn't too upset about it. But yes, he's a pitcher for the Tigers in that movie, and he throws a perfect game, I believe. That's what the movie's about. But yeah, that was a good movie as well. What's going on, Simon, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. What's up, Drew? I partied last night at my neighbor's house last night. I had a blast. Nobody got drunk, thank God. Well, Kevin, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad everybody's safe. Hopefully everybody that's typing, whether it's on your phone or your keyboard, you have all 10 fingers. Hopefully you're not like JPP with, 7.5 fingers trying to type right now, and you didn't do something that you shouldn't have done. I've never lit off a firework in my life. I don't think I ever will. I think JPP taught me a lesson. I think I'll enjoy it from a distance. But hopefully everybody stayed safe last night. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it, man. Natural was really good, meat. Natural was a really good movie. What's up, Lake Nona? How you doing, buddy? Benjamin says, my biggest concern, are they going to open the Gentleman Club anytime soon? I mean, some of us just turned 21. We need to be awarded with booze and ladies. Am I right, Chris? I'll tell you what, man. Right now, the two places that I think are probably the most dangerous that's the most dangerous. And the second most dangerous is probably the gym. You think about all the germs and everything else, so I completely understand that. I think that'd be the last place to open, Benjamin. But hopefully they do it sooner than later, man. Because that requires a lot of physical contact. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to social distance during a lap dance. You just can't. And it's just not worth it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they get that situated for you, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. What's going on, Royal, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. What about the Bad News Bears is a really good one, too. They actually remade that with Billy Bob Thornton. I really like the original. I don't know if they've made 3. I think they've only made 2. The one in the 80s or the older one I like more, but the Billy Bob Thornton one was still really good. He was really good as the coach. Glad I can finally catch a stream. How you been? Malik, man, I'm glad you're here, man. Hope you're doing well. Great subscriber of mine. Always leaves funny comments. I'm glad you're here, buddy. In Vegas, I'm pretty sure everything is open. Maybe that's the case, though, and I honestly don't know. What do you think Slayton's role will be if Ingram and Shepard are healthy? Good question. I've talked about Slayton a lot. I think he fits this scheme the best. I mean, you could definitely argue that Ingram fits the scheme very well, too. Obviously, because they focused heavily on the tight end in the past. But I think Slayton, out of our 3 main receivers, I think Slayton fits it the best. I really do. He's going to be used as a vertical threat on the outside. I don't really see him being used too much over the middle. I mean, you got 3 guys to do that already, with Tate, Shepard, and Ingram. So I think he's going to be used as a vertical threat on the outside. I think that's his role. I think he's going to be a guy that probably averages 16.5, 17, maybe even 18 yards a catch. I did a video on this. I compared him to Michael Gallup in the Cowboys offense last year. I think Gallup averaged like 17 yards a catch. I see that, I think Slayton will be in the top 10, 12 in terms of that stat. I think he'll be near the top. He was near the top last year. I think he was like 16.5 yards last year. He ranked in the top 15 or 20, and that was in the Pat Shurmur offense. So I think they're going to throw a lot of deep balls down on the outside. And I expect Slayton to be used in that role. New York for life, man. Thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it, man. He says, how about if the stripper has a C-section scar or the clap? That's a good way to social distance. Yeah, that way, that would be a double whammy. That would be a double whammy. You go home with COVID and a STD. That would that's not good for your health. I mean, long term and short term, it's not good. So that's probably why they've kept them closed. New York for life, for sure, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. He'll be the deep ball. Yeah, he's gonna be the deep ball guy. Like and join the channel, you guys. I appreciate MH, man. Thank you so much for being here, man. I love MH. And MH, I'm getting the Met content. I'm hoping up tomorrow. If they release that schedule tomorrow, I'm gonna do a video on that. I'll definitely be getting more. I know you're a huge Mets fan. I'll definitely be getting some Mets videos up. Obviously, I'm gonna continue the Giants, but I'll definitely be sprinkling some Mets content up, and I can't wait if we have baseball to start streaming some games. I love doing the baseball games whenever I can. So thanks for being here, MH. I appreciate it. Will Entertainer respond to me? The world may never know. Nikki, Entertainer just responded to you. the world does know. But, Nikki, thank you for being here. Yeah, if I missed you, I apologize. Thank you for being here. Christopher says, Shepard is one concussion away from retirement. Who can we replace him with, assuming we don't plan on keeping Tate? Yeah, I don't think we're keeping Tate long-term. He might stay here for another year after this. That's certainly possible. I don't think he sees the conclusion of his contract. He's going to be 32 next year. He makes a lot of money. If Shepard is forced to retire due to concussion, I think you're going to replace him in the draft. I think you'll find a guy in the draft to replace him in the slot, whatever it may be. It's a very deep wide receiver class next year. That's what I think they'll do. I think they're drafting a receiver no matter what next year. Now, they could certainly spend some money in free agency, bring one in. Sammy Watkins is a guy I've brought up just because I think he's going to be available. I think he's going to be available. So we'll see if Watkins is the guy they go after. I've talked about him because I think Pat Mahomes is going. They're going to have to save money to be able to sign Pat Mahomes down the stretch. So I think Watkins is a guy that could fit this offense and maybe somewhat cost-effective. We'll have to wait and see, though, how that plays out. I still think they're drafting a receiver no matter what, though, in next year's draft. That's my answer to that. Asia, thank you so much. Asia, you really don't have to continue to do this. I really appreciate all the love and the support. Thank you very much. I hope you had a happy 4th of July. I don't even know what else to say anymore. You've been incredible. Thank you very much. She says, Chris, stand up. Denzel Mims said he's scared of Philadelphia and he didn't want to play there. If he's scared of Philadelphia, imagine what New York will do with him if he struggles. I am not a hockey fan, but I would at least had Wayne Gretzky for the Rangers. Yeah, Asia, you're talking about my video I did today. Yeah, I'm going to do more of those. Those are fun. Seems like a lot of my subscribers enjoyed that. I know they're not going to get tons of views because it's not like news, but it's for you guys. It's for my diehard subscribers. I really enjoyed it. And to be honest with you, I should have gotten Wayne Gretzky now that I think about it. I'm not a huge hockey fan. I never hide that. But yes, I should have obviously gotten Wayne Gretzky. I was just kind of skipping over hockey. I was like, whatever. But no, you're right. I should have gotten Wayne Gretzky 100%. As far as Denzel Mims goes, I didn't even know that. I did not know that. But the funny thing is, Denzel Mims got drafted to New York. He's with the New York Jets. So that's funny that he says that because New York, like you said, is a much tougher market than Philadelphia in terms of the media. At least I would think. Now, I know the fans are passionate in Philadelphia, but you're dealing with a lot more press in New York. So that's funny that he came out and said that. Now, maybe he's talking about the fans more so than the media. The fans have it, they have a reputation in Philadelphia for being the roughest fans in the sport. But Asia, thank you so much. I can't say thank you enough. And I know you're a big baseball fan, so I know you're excited that we're gonna have. I think the schedule's coming out tomorrow. One of my subscribers said earlier in the stream. I think it was Kristaps Porzingis. So hopefully we get that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we get some baseball. We get back to normalcy. Asia, thank you so much. Are you active on Instagram? Yes, I got to get more active. I was active for a bit. I'm going to get more active. It's just right now there's not a lot of stuff to talk about. So I haven't been as active as I was, but I'm going to get back on the Instagram game. I'll probably do a stream this week on Instagram, actually. That's fun, too. It's always smaller there, and it's a better opportunity to get to talk to some of you guys. So, yes, I will be live on the Instagram at some point this week, probably, and I'll definitely be posting some more pictures. Let's see what we got here. Blow Asia a kiss. Mwah. There you go. Can you do a movie review on Scarface? Chris Leone, yes, I will be doing that. A lot of people have suggested like the mobster movies, the mafia movies. I'm going to do Star Wars for sure. I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan. My brother, if you watch the channel, is obsessed with Star Wars. That's all we have in the background. So we're definitely going to do some Star Wars content. I don't know if that'll be the next video. We're definitely going to be doing some mobster movies as well. We all, like Casino, Goodfellas, Scarface. Yes, we're going to be doing all of those. And we'll probably do them individually, for sure. I'm a huge fan of all those movies, so definitely we'll be doing that. McKinney can be listed as a nickel linebacker on blitzes. What is his sack prediction for the year? I say 3.5 sacks, Timmy Time says. Yeah, I think that's a fair number. I would say between 3 to 5 sacks for both safeties. I think both of them will be used in blitzes off the edge, even up the middle sometimes for a guy like Peppers. Yes, I think they'll be used actively in the blitz in terms of blitzing. So yeah, I think 3 to 5 is a fair guess for both of them. Yeah, I think it's gonna be sacked by association. You're not gonna have any Well, you might have like a guy with 9. I don't think you can have any 11, 12, 13 sack guys, but I think you could have a bunch of 5, 6, 7 sack guys. And yeah, expect them to be involved in terms of the blitzing. So yeah, I think 3.5, 4 sacks is a fair estimate. How many homers for Robbie Cano this year? You know what's funny? When I first heard the new rule for the National League, I was pissed. First off, I'm a purist in terms of the National League. I am definitely a National League fan. I've always been a huge Mets fan. I believe in the pitcher. I just do, and I know it's boring, and I know it slows down the game, and people want to see the designated hitter, and I know it elongates careers, and if you're a Yankee fan, I get it. You don't like the pitcher, I get it. But as a Mets fan, as a National League fan growing up, I don't like the DH. I like the strategy that comes into the game when you don't have a designated hitter. So when I heard the rule change for the Mets this year, I was pissed because I said to myself, there's only 60 games. None of the National League teams were prepared to do this. They all went into the year assuming they were still playing by National League rules. So in the offseason with free agency, they couldn't prepare for this. They didn't bring in a guy that could be a DH. But for the Mets, it actually works out perfectly. And Cano is the main reason. Cano, Cespedes, you're talking about guys that at this point in their career are kind of injury prone. They're kind of better suited to be a DH. So I actually think it benefits the Mets, as weird as that sounds, even though they're a National League team. Even J.D. Davis, I think they have a number of guys that could play that DH role. So I actually think it benefited the Mets. I think it worked out in our favor. If Cano's healthy, I still think he's a solid player. Wasn't very good last year, but maybe if he's a DH and that's his primary role, maybe he'll do a better job for the Mets this year. Let's see what we got here. Whenever I close my eyes now, Tana, all I see is... Me too, Jawad. You and me both, my man. Original rules, you hit and you feel... Gabriel, I'm with you on that, man. And I'm glad Afghanistan's here. I don't know if I shouted him out. He's friggin' awesome. Always try to shout him out whenever I can. Always in my streams. Always showing so much support. So Afghanistan, thank you for being here, buddy. Oh, Asia, thank you. Asia, mwah, thank you so much for the super stick. I appreciate that. OBJ offered the Eli Man... OBJ suffered the Eli Manning curse. Well... Oh, you're saying that Eli Manning brought him down? I can't argue that. You know, I get when people bring up Beckham could have performed better had he had a better quarterback later in Eli Manning's career. But my answer to that was if the Giants supplied Eli with the team that he should have had, if they would have drafted properly, had a strong offensive line, I think Eli still would have gotten the job done. I think that owners... I think that they failed him with the drafts and everything else. Yes, he was not good enough at the end of his career to support the team the way that he was in 2011, but... You know, I always point to the Saints. Drew Brees was putting up numbers, they weren't winning games. Then they fixed the offensive line, he became more of a game manager, and he flourished because of it. I think the Giants failed Eli Manning the last 3 or 4 years of his career. That's just my opinion. But yeah, he wasn't the same quarterback he was 7 or 8 years prior. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it, man. He says, with Trump's stimulus check and Asia's big dollars, you're one rich man. I just don't understand why you don't co-star with Tom Cruise and Top Gun. First of all, I am a huge Tom Cruise fan. And I know that's like cliche. And, Tom Cruise is kind of like the Yankees. Like everybody, I feel like you either love him or you completely hate him. I love Tom Cruise because every movie the guy makes, I love. Like, I'm not saying he's the best actor, but everything that guy touches, I'm a big fan of. One of my favorites is probably a movie a lot of people haven't seen. What's it called? The one with Jamie Foxx when he's in the taxi cab. It's friggin' awesome. He plays an incredible villain. I can't think of it all. Collateral, I love. A Minority Report, I love. Last Samurai was awesome. All the Mission Impossibles are awesome. I just love everything the guy does. I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I would love to co-star with him. JB, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. Leo making Gettleman look bad. That was not a smart trade. You know, I try to be positive with everything that the Giants do, or try to find some kind of positivity out of it. There's not much you can say about it, you know. But at the same time, we kind of got to get over it. You know, it is what it is. It was a mistake, and it was definitely a very bad one. But like I said in the video today, maybe you could get a compensation pick for him. You know, if you do decide to move on, he's definitely not going to be worth that money. If you get a compensation pick, at least you get, you know, some semblance of your third round pick back. It's not going to equate to it. I recognize we were picking at like 66. You're getting like 95 to 100, and you're losing a fifth. Fifth round picks usually don't pan out. Obviously, you won them. Wasn't a good trade. You know, people make bad trades. That one made no sense. I got nothing else to say about it. It was a bad trade. And it was a bad, you know. That is the one move that for sure you could criticize Dave Gettleman for. There's really no defending it. It was a horrible decision. JB, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, give us your best. Yeah, Vincent from Collateral, Delano, he was friggin' awesome. Give us your best new name for the Redskins. I'm gonna tell you what, man. A bunch of my subscribers in my Discord have been showing me, team name ideas and logos. The Red Tail sounds cool, and I think they made a movie. I could be wrong about this. I didn't look into it, but I'm pretty sure they made a movie about that with the fighter jets, the fighter planes back in the day. It was called Red Tails, I think. But the logos look really cool. It still, has the red theme to it. I think that'd be cool. The new logos I've seen and everything else. I know it's, probably somebody just came up with it, but that one sounded cool. I mean, anything in terms of, about the country. Obviously, when you think Washington, D.C., you think about the United States. So anything like that would be appropriate. But yeah, I think the Red Tail sounds cool. I think anything with red in it would be cool. Anything that, about the United States would be cool. The monument somebody brought up, and I've heard that before. I don't know what the logo would look like. That's what I worry about. Like, what is it going to be like? Is it going to be the Washington? You can't, it looks silly. So I don't know what it'll be, but we'll see. I'm sure it'll take some getting used to, though. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it, man. Aren't you forgetting something, my man? Yeah, Benjamin, I was gonna give you a wrench. I just didn't want to give out too many. I saw you before the chat, and I was handing out a few. I just don't want to give out too many. I just gave you one. I was honestly gonna give you one. I saw you. I was like, I had already given out, I think, 3, and I was like, all right, I want to try to limit it because I don't want to have the same problem I had last time. Because I always see you in my streams. You're always here early, and I'm gonna give one to KP too. I don't think I got to him yet. I see him in all my streams all the time. And I'm sure, there's a bunch of other regulars in here I'm going to give, but I'm trying to give them back gradually, 2 here, 3 here, once a month. But I realized I hadn't given out one in a couple of months. So I was like, all right, I'll give out a couple tonight because I saw a lot of you guys in the chat before. So I'll definitely give out more, as the season gets closer. But yeah, man, I appreciate the love, man. Thank you very much. Joseph Clark, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it, man. He says, been busy, just want to show support. Go Giants. Man, Joseph Clark, man, thank you so much, man, for being a great supporter of the channel. I always see you commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it. I really do. So thank you very much, man. I hope you had a happy 4th of July. And yeah, man, hope you're enjoying your night, man. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. By the way, Haskins has said his favorite possibility is the Red Tails. That I didn't know. So that's interesting. Maybe Haskins' favorite name I think should be the Selfies. The Washington Selfies. That would be that would be appropriate for Dwayne Haskins. The logo could just be a picture of him with the fans with the phone out taking a picture. I think that works. What do you guys think? You think that works? The Washington Selfies? Wrench. I appreciate that, Nikki. Thank you very much. Greg, man, thank you so much, man. Insert message here. Let's blanking go Mets. Greg, man, thanks so much for love. I can't wait for baseball season. I can't wait to get some content up. I miss having sports, and I love the Mets. So, and it's gonna kind of be cool. At the same time, obviously, I'm missing the 162 game schedule. But it's gonna kind of be the way I was thinking about it today with baseball. It's kind of a third of the season. So each individual game is kind of like a series in a way, right? So if you lose one game, it's almost like you got swept against that team. But each game is gonna mean so much more than it has in the past. So it's going to kind of add some more juice. It's basically like every team fast forwarded to the pennant race. It's basically a pennant race for every team in baseball. So if we have a season, it's actually going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be weird with the empty stadiums and everything else, but I'm looking forward to it, man. Let's see what we got here. Let's go, Benjamin. Good to see you there. Let's see what we got here. Chris, why are you selling screwdrivers? I'm not selling screwdrivers. 23 and 32 for the Mets, and I'm a Mets fan. Elvis, I think the schedule is going to be tough because we play the AL East, but I still think the Mets have a really good team on paper. I do. I'm not saying that we're as good as the Yankees. I don't want Yankees fans to get it twisted. I'm not saying we're as good as the Dodgers. But before the Syndergaard injury, I thought we were really good. Now, I don't know. But I think the Mets have a lot of young talent. I think their lineup is really good. They're really deep. I mean, you look at their lineup. I mean, Pete Alonso with 53 home runs last year. McNeil is really good. Ramos is a good, in terms of a hitter behind the plate. Conforto, if Conforto can give us those 2 hot months he gives us every year at the beginning, they have a healthy Nimmo back. You hope Cespedes is back. Cano. They have a lot of potential. J.D. Davis had a really good year last year. So I like the Mets. I just don't. I think they play a tough schedule, but anything could happen in a short schedule. With only 60 games, anything could happen. JB, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, only counts if the Mets win. That's right. That's right, my man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Ioannis is back. Is Joey Lutz in the house? Hey, Chris, how about Washington? The Washington Red Sox make sense. I think the Washington Red Sox is fitting. I like that. But yeah, I hope a lot of you guys come. Obviously, I know, like I said, I know a lot of you guys probably don't even like baseball. I know a lot of you guys probably don't, a lot of you guys are probably Yankee fans, and I get that. I'm an oddity. Most Giant fans are Yankee fans. But, hopefully if you guys are Mets fans or just baseball fans, when you're free, you come by because those streams are fun. I get to talk to the chat. I get to call the game. I really enjoyed those last year because they're not – like the basketball streams are great. They blow up during the playoffs. But the baseball streams are fun because you actually get to talk to your subscribers. They don't – it's like 50 people, 60 people. It's just fun. So if you guys enjoy baseball, man, just come by, hang out, talk about the Mets. So I'm looking forward to that. I take wrenches for free, Crispy says. Let's see what we got here. Washington Barclays. Oh, my God. Barkley is going to steamroll the Redskins this year. He's going to absolutely steamroll the Redskins this year. Joe Lutz is Joey Lutz, man. I'm glad that you're here, man. Joe has been, I always say it, the three amigos that started my channel, the three guys that were in all my live streams when I first started. And there were a couple of others, but the three guys that I saw every time, Joe Lutz, Stealth Raven, and Bavith. You three guys were in every one of my streams. I had like 25, 30 people in there. You guys were there every single time. I could never say thank you enough, man, for all the support you've always shown me. Joey Lutz is the man. Let's see what we got here. I would like a Tarzan review. Phil Collins soundtrack was amazing. Maybe we'll do that. There's so many movies we can do. But the one thing we're definitely going to do, we're going to do newer movies when they start coming out. We're going to do newer shows, big Netflix shows, stuff like that. That's something we're definitely going to focus on, but past movies as well. We're going to move around. It's going to be fun. Let's see what we got here. Mets knock off LA and the Yanks crush the Astros. New York. Oh my God. Jay, Yankees Mets. Do you know how jacked up I would be for a Yankees Mets World Series? 2000 when I was a kid. How old was I? I was like 14. 14. That was, we lost obviously as a Mets fan, but that was unbelievable. The Mets, believe it or not, Yankees fans, the Mets that year probably had the better team. The Yankees only won 86 games that year, I think it was. The Mets won like 93, 94. The Mets had two really good pitchers at the top with Hampton and Leiter. And the Mets just found ways to lose those games. The first game of that series, Todd Zeile hits a bomb off the top of the left field fence. I think it was left center, whatever it was. And Timo Perez doesn't run. There were 2 outs. The guy he forgot how many outs there were. If he runs, they win game 1. It's a completely different series. Instead, he decides not to, and John Franco and Armando Benitez blow it to the Yankees in game 1, and the rest is history. The Mets end up losing the series 4-1. But yeah, man, that 2000 World Series was a lot closer than the 4-1, indicated. Let's put it that way. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Victor, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. My first World Series was 1960. You still hate Mavs. That's right. Luis Sojo, man. That guy. Luis Sojo, man. Luis Sojo was like the most unathletic looking player ever. But he always got hits for the Yankees. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate it, man. Didn't want to ask, but I'm always in your streams, and I always show you love. I nominate Sports Expert and KP as your next mods. Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to give out any more tonight. Probably in like another 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, you guys are always in my streams. So you guys know eventually you're going to get them. I appreciate all the support you guys always show me. I just don't want to go overload with the wrenches. Lloyd, man, what's going on, man? Lloyd, my man, I appreciate you popping in the stream, man. Yeah, me and my brother, it's only got like 275 subscribers right now. If somebody, I don't know if anybody in here has the link to it. If somebody wants to drop the link, I started a new movie channel. It's called Entertain and Talking Movies. And yeah, it's just fun, man. We're going to do a live stream a week. And hopefully even 2 if the channel starts to grow a little bit, two times a week. And yeah, we just talk movies. We're gonna do it's like a podcast. We did like an hour-long podcast twice already. Just talking about some of our favorite movies. So yeah, we're just something that I've always wanted to do. When I first started YouTube, I was kind of undecided, whether I wanted to talk about New York sports, which ended up turning pretty much into the Giants, or, talk about movies. I ended up choosing sports, which I'm very happy about. I'm going to continue to work just as hard as I ever have on this channel, but it's just something else that I wanted to do. My brother brought up the idea. My brother is the biggest movie fan I know, and I'm definitely a huge movie fan too, so it should be a really fun channel, and I get to spend more time with my brother, so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see what we got here. You gonna stream who? Yes, I am, Ventura. I'm gonna stream, I'm gonna stream probably at least 2 or 3 times a week. I'm gonna do the NBA playoffs, up until football season. Football season, where my focus is gonna be, but yes, definitely gonna be doing some playoff games. JB12, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. He says, favorite Marvel character and movie. Oh, man. Hi to Entertainer Talking Sports. Hey there, Cheese Whiz. Thanks for popping in the stream, man. My favorite Marvel... Okay. This is my... Okay, here's the thing, JB. I'm not putting the Avengers in the same category. That's just not fair. I don't count that, So I'm going to look at the individual movies. The Avengers is the easy answer because they all pair up. The movie's incredible. I'm not counting that. So if I'm looking at individual movies, the original Iron Man is great. That's up there for me. But I have a guilty pleasure, I guess, because most people don't agree with me when I say this. My favorite Marvel movie, and I think it has a lot to do with the soundtrack, but I think it's got a great mix of comedy, action. I just love it, is Guardians of the Galaxy. I absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's kind of like got that Star Wars feel to it, but it doesn't take it too seriously. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of I think it is my favorite individual Marvel movie. I absolutely love it. In terms of my favorite Marvel character, I think Robert Downey Jr. was perfect as Iron Man. I don't think you could have casted it better. So I'll go with Downey Jr. as Iron Man. But yeah, I love Guardians of the Galaxy. And Asia, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. She says, Giants, Jets, Super Bowl, Yankees, Mets, World Series, or Rangers, Islanders, Stanley Cup. All right, I think Rangers Islanders would actually be the most bad blood because they're like actual rivals. Like the Giants and Jets, are they really rivals? Same with Yankees and Mets. Now, Yankees and Mets has a little bit more bad blood than the Giants and Jets. But yeah, in terms of like a rivalry, and I don't even really follow hockey, but Rangers and Islanders hate each other. So that might actually be the best one in terms of like hatred. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Vision was my favorite. Vision, that's an interesting one. That's one you don't hear often, Jay. Let's see what we got here. Captain America's fantastic. And thank you for posting the link for Lloyd. I appreciate that, Meat. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, what am I saying, J-Fed? What am I saying? I just read the question. The Rangers and Islanders play in the same division. I don't even follow hockey, and I know that. Great point, J-Fed. They cannot play. If they played in the Eastern Conference Finals, that would be awesome. Yeah, of course, they both play in the same division. So, yeah, that cannot happen. But they both hate each other. That's for damn sure. That is the best rivalry in terms of New York teams, the Rangers and Islanders. But let's see what we got here. Rangers have a bright future. I gotta follow hockey more. I gotta get a little bit more into it. I don't hate hockey. I just don't have the time. I'm a huge Knicks fan. I follow basketball over hockey. They play at the same time. I need to watch a little more hockey, though. I definitely get into the playoffs. I do watch the Islanders and Rangers when they're in the playoffs. What's up, Elvis, man? Thanks for popping to the stream. Cap or Iron Man, whose side are you on? Listen, man, I'm a huge Iron Man guy. I'm going with Iron Man. And Captain America is awesome, but I'm going with Iron Man. How many wins are the Giants going to get this season, Matthew said? I've said 6 or 7. I think that's realistic. 9 is a ceiling. 5 is a floor. I think 6 or 7. That's what I'm looking at. Maybe 4 is a floor if there's injuries, but I'm going 6 or 7, which is a big step up when you factor in the tough schedule. Last year they won 4. They played a much easier schedule. So 2 more wins with a really, a much tougher schedule. That's a big step up. So I think it's a much improved team. I still think we're a year away, though. We worried about the Marvel movies or... let's see what we got here. How many wins? Oh, I already answered that. Let me get a sip of coffee. I'll let some of the questions come in. Who do you got winning the NBA title this year? To me, it's between the Clippers and the Lakers. To me, it's between the Clippers and the Lakers in the West, and in the East, it's the Bucks. And I'm kind of I kind of always pull for the underdog. And and I know Benjamin Wynn's a huge Laker fan. I like the Greek Freak. I like Antetokounmpo. But I don't think he could win. I think he's going to get exposed in the playoffs. He does not have a great 3-point jump shot. I think he'll get exposed. And I think it'll be someone out west. I think it'll be the Lakers or the Clippers. Whoever comes out of that, I think it'll be one of those two teams. And I'll lean Lakers. I mean, LeBron and Anthony Davis is going to be tough to beat. It really is. So we'll see. But Kawhi Leonard, you can't count him out. The guy's the best two-way player in the league. So I think that'll be a great matchup. Clippers, Lakers. I think whoever wins that will win the finals. I think Antetokounmpo will get exposed with his 3-point jump shot when push comes to shove come playoff time. Just my opinion. But I'd probably pull for the Bucks out of the teams that I think could realistically win. Asia, thank you so much, Philip. I appreciate it. Robert Downey Jr. and Sherlock Holmes was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I love Robert Downey Jr. is awesome. Everything he does, he's great. The Mavs, the Mavs are the 7th seed right now, and I definitely think the Mavs are Ernesto. I was actually talking about this. I think the Mavs have, if you asked me over the next 6 years, there's going to be a team in the NBA that has a dynasty, I'd probably pick the Mavs just because of their young talent. But this year, I think it's a year early. I don't think they're ready yet. That's my opinion. Now, the fact that there's no home court advantage, it definitely helps the Mavs out a little bit to maybe pull that first-round upset. I don't see it, though. I don't think they do it. Let's see what we got here. JB, man, thanks so much, Philip, man. I appreciate it. 2007 Giants versus 2011 Giants, who you got? I got to go. The thing, I've been asked this question before. And the thing is, the 07 team was better. Period. As a team, the 07 team was better. They had the better offensive line. They had the better defensive line. They had the better team. The wide receivers in 11 were great. Victor Cruz, Mario Manningham, Hakeem Nicks. They had great weapons. Now, but the most important player on a team is the quarterback. Eli Manning in 2011 was light years ahead of Eli Manning in 2007. So I don't know. It's close. I would lean with 2007. Because I think in the trenches, they would have dominated the 2011 team. The 2011 team had the 32nd ranked run offense, dead last. I just think the 07 team was a better team. Eli Manning kind of carried that team through the regular season in 11. The 07 team was just better. But the fact that Eli was that much better in 11 makes it an interesting topic for discussion. But I think I'd still lean 2007 just because I just think they were that much better. Even though the record may not indicate it, I think they were a much better football team. Thank you so much. Let's see what we got. Oh, Benjamin, I appreciate it. Gracias, Chris. All I ever wanted was for you to pick the Lakers to win the champion. Damn shit. I think I'm kind of leaning. I think I'm kind of leaning Lakers right now, if you ask me. I just think LeBron and AD. You're talking about two of the top 5 players on the planet. I think it's gonna be tough to beat them. But the Clippers can. Leonard proved it last year. He's great. So I think it'll be a great series. What's up, Irish? If the Yankees win the World Series, will you be no. I will never be a Yankee fan. And I know there's a lot of Yankees fans, and I know people say, "Oh, you got to become a Yankee fan." It's I can't do it. I've been rooting for the Mets my whole life. And it's just with my luck, what would happen if I jump ship? The Mets would win the World Series the next year. And as a Mets fan, I just look at it like this, man. It's kind of like being a Knicks fan. I put up with all this torture year in and year out. And when they finally win, it's going to be worth it. Just one. I just want one. But that one championship to me is going to feel like 20 Yankee championships. Like it's just going to feel incredible. So I'm going to appreciate that championship. I'm going to cherish that championship if I ever get one. But I can't jump ship, man. I've been a Mets fan for too long. New York for life, man. Thanks so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, is Phoenix's Joker the best Joker of all time? You know what, man? And I think it's I think that's a great question. My answer to you is, I don't think it's fair to compare any of the Jokers. Because they're all completely different characters. Like, Jack Nicholson's Joker is so much different than, Phoenix's Joker. They're all different. All 3 of them are different. And all 3 of them are awesome. Joaquin Phoenix was incredible, though. He was awesome. But they're all three of them are just so much different than the other. I still got to go with The Dark Knight as my favorite Joker. Heath Ledger, I think, was the best. But I think he had the benefit of playing the best Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like, he portrayed what I thought was the best Joker. So I think all three of them played it perfectly. They're all different characters. You know? Mets, Jets, Nets. If the rhyme... Yeah, well, fortunately for me, I'm not a Jets fan. It's tough being a Jets fan. I listen to Joe and Evan all the time. You guys got it rough, man, but I respect Jets fans. I got a lot of friends that are Jets fans, but Jets fans definitely got it rough. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Heath Ledger, man. What's going on, Mark, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Ian, man, with the question, he says, Tana, how would you react if the Knicks win the finals? God, I'd lose my mind. I say it all the time. You know, I think the Giants and Mets are above the Knicks for me, but it's really close. But in terms of an individual team, the early 90s Knicks teams, I've never loved the team more. When I was a kid growing up, 93 to like 2000 with the Knicks, I was obsessed with that team. That team defined the city. They were tough. They were gritty. Some people may not realize it because the Knicks have sucked for so long. But if the Knicks ever got good again, New York's a basketball city. New York wants to be a basketball city. We just haven't had a product. But yeah, I would go nuts if the Knicks ever won a championship. I always say it all the time, man. Knicks fans are the most loyal fans in the world. They have to deal with the worst owner in sports. They have not had a winning season. They've had like 2 winning seasons in the last 20 years. Knicks fans are loyal. They're passionate. They love their team. JB, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, Dark Knight Trilogy versus the Avengers movies. I'm going to go Dark Knight Trilogy, just because I feel like the Avengers has an unfair advantage. I also think the Dark Knight was just a better movie. Avengers is phenomenal, but I got to go Dark Knight, man. I love the Dark Knight is just on another level for me. Christopher Nolan is awesome as a director, so I'll go Dark Knight. Let's see what we got here. I love that 99 team. Yeah, the 8 seed, Daniel. Yeah, they took on the Spurs in the finals. That was an unexpected run, for sure. I think I could be wrong on this. You can fact check me. I think at the time, I know the Warriors were an 8 seed. They won against the Mavericks in like the early 2000s. But I think when the Knicks did it, I think it was like 07 the Warriors did it against the Mavs. But when the Knicks did it, I think they were only the second. They might have been the third. I think they were only the second 8 seed ever to win a playoff series. And they knocked off the Miami Heat, of all teams, with the Allen Houston jumper that hit every part of the rim. And then obviously they went on to beat, I think, the Hawks in the second round. I think they beat the Pacers in the third. That was the 4-point play. That was an incredible run by the Knicks. Blue Collar, man, thank you so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. He said, Cool Drummer, man. What's going on, Cool Drummer? I just lost my voice. Thank you for popping in, man. Blue Collar says, to save the world, you must switch to one team. Who would you drop and who would you pick? Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, you're killing me. See, I'm not going to cheat because I'm not a hockey guy. You know, if I had to pick a hockey team, I'd probably pick the Islanders. I'm from Long Island, but I'm not a passionate hockey fan, so I'm not going to count that. So it's got to be the Giants, the Mets, or the Knicks. Oh, you are killing me. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I love all three of them. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to be honest. If I had to pick one, I love them all. I'd pick the Knicks. I'd give up the Knicks. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I'd give up the Knicks. But I'm not doing it. I'm never doing it. But if I got to save the world, the Knicks have just brought me such heartache. At least the Mets have given me some good memories since I've been an adult. They've gone to the World Series a couple of times. They've been somewhat competitive. The Knicks have just been a complete dumpster fire. They've never done anything for me. So if I had to pick one, I'm sorry, Dolan. I got to let the Knicks go. But I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Benjamin, man, thank you so much for love. I appreciate it. Chris, you should be on Thunder from down under. You're a good-looking guy, no homo. You join them, you'll definitely get the ladies, my man. Thunder down under. Yeah, that's popular in Vegas. I've never been there. I've seen the posters. I'm not in shape for that. I gotta drop 30 pounds to be able to do the Thunder down under. Those guys got like 4% body fat, but I'll look into it, man. I appreciate it. MVP, what's going on, my man? Thank you so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, quick joke. Did you know 5 out of 6 people find Russian roulette not to be very harmful to them? Yeah, that's actually accurate, MVP. Now, the other 1/6 find it incredibly harmful, but they don't realize it was harmful because by the time they do, they're dead. So technically, 6 out of 6 people don't find it harmful if you think about it. And then he says, one day I'll get you on that Yankee with no brim. Not happening. Not happening. Not happening. But I appreciate the love, man. I really do. New York for life, man. Thank you so much for the love, man. He says, the Washington Redskins' 3 minority owners have hired a search firm to sell their shares in the team amid discontent with owner Daniel Snyder. I did not know that. I am not shocked. I am not shocked. To be completely honest with you, Daniel Snyder is probably the worst owner in all of sports. He just is. And I know that, there's been some, I don't know the full story there with the whole thing. I know FedEx has threatened to pull out and everything else. I don't know enough about the story. But I'm not shocked. Daniel Snyder sucks. Daniel Snyder is probably the worst owner in football. If there's Redskins fans in here, they probably agree with me. He's not a good owner. What's going on? Rogue Dog. I just got the hiccups, Rogue Dog. What's going on, man? What do you think about the Miami Heat? I think Eric Spoelstra is one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA. I think Miami Heat over the recent years have overachieved. Let's put it that way. I think Eric Spoelstra is a really good head coach. Let's see what we got here. Am I the only guy tired of having average players opposed to Beast? Cole, I think we all are. I think we would all like 53 Beast if we could find one. But the one thing I'll say to you, Cole, it's a rebuild. So hopefully we have future Beasts. Hopefully we're molding them into future Beasts. I don't want to take a shortcut. That's what I've expressed this entire offseason, and I'm happy the Giants didn't. You got to do it the right way, and they're doing it the right way. And hopefully some of these guys, hopefully Dexter Lawrence is that beast. Some of these guys we've drafted become beast. That's the way I look at it. I still think we're a year away, one more good draft away, one more year, one more free agency period, and I think you're going to have a team you're really proud to root for. I really in my heart believe that. I would never lie to you guys. I do believe that this team is headed in the right direction. I think by 2021, the Giants are going to have a team that you're happy to cheer for. I'm not saying they're going to a Super Bowl. I'm not even saying they're definitely making the playoffs. But by 2021, I don't think we'll be a laughingstock anymore. I think we're going to go in. I think people have raised expectations, and I think we're headed in the right direction. I really do believe that. And I think by 2022, we'll definitely be really good. So I'm excited about the Giants, man. I'm excited to see the progression this year. I think that we're headed in the right direction. I really believe that. Let's see what we got here. Lakers better than the Spurs. All time, yes. Now, yes. So yes, Chad. And Chad, thanks for being here, buddy. My teams are the Giants, Celtics, and Red Sox. I'm from Connecticut, right in between. There are so many Red Sox fans that are Giants fans. I've noticed that. So many Red Sox fans that are Giants fans, and I guess that's the reason, Alex. Let's get some Raphael, man. I'm with you, man. I want the W's just as much as anybody else. Who would you want to play? The New York Giants movie? Who would I want to play? You and Bad Dog movie. Who would you want to play? I mean, if I want to be Eli Manning. Malik, he's my favorite player of all time. If that's what you're asking me, I want to play Eli Manning. Or are you asking what actor would I want to play me? Okay, so I get this a lot, and maybe not with the gray hair. Maybe I need to dye my hair because my hair's starting to go gray. But my whole life I've gotten Nicolas Cage. So I've always said if there was an actor that was going to play me, it'd probably be Nicolas Cage, even though he's a lunatic and even though he looks older than me right now. But if you could go back 20 years on Nicolas Cage before he was clearly going crazy bald, I would say Nicolas Cage would play my part. As far as Bad Dog goes, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. He says, I know Bad Dog is a booty man. How about you? Booty. I mean, I'm an all of the above man. I'm a not too picky man, Benjamin. Yeah, my answer to that is all of the above, but if you're forcing me to pick one, I'm kind of with Bad Dog there. But thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. What's up, Lord Flacco, man? Danny DeVito. I'm not sure. Everybody likes to pick on I'm not sure. I'm 5'11", 5'10.5", if we're being exact. I'm Danny DeVito be Kid Blue. No, but Kid Blue's too good looking to be Danny DeVito. Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt. I mean, I was just telling you, Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite Marvel movie, so I'm all for that. I'm a huge Chris Pratt fan. The Entertainer, would you take a job at ESPN? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. Do I love what I do on YouTube? Yes. I love YouTube. The reason I love YouTube is simple. It's unfiltered. And I'll say this, man. People have asked me that before. Not specifically ESPN, but people have asked me, would you leave for a radio job? I don't know. I can honestly tell you, I don't know. Like if my channel really grew this year, it's nice to be your own boss. It's nice to be able to say what you want to say. It's nice to have your own community. I'd have to be blown away. If my channel grew, which I hope it does this next season, I'd have to be blown away, to be honest with you. I love what I do. I love talking to you guys all the time. And I love being my own boss. I love being able to mold my channel the way I want to mold it. I love not being controlled. I love not having to, worry about what I say about an athlete on the team because I got an interview with them in a week. So I think there's a lot of, I think that's why people watch YouTube. I think there's a lot of benefits to being on YouTube. You get to say what you want to say when you want to say it. And that's not necessarily the case with a place like ESPN. MVP, man, thanks so much for love. You would play Phil Simms and Bad Dog would be LT. Oh, Bad Dog is a bad mamma jamma. He could definitely be LT. He's definitely more of an LT than me. Yeah, I'll be Phil Simms. I could rock with Phil Simms. Let's see what we got. I appreciate that, Kevin, man. Tana's like, I don't know about that, Rogue. What's up, Alex Sports? Who's the guy you would draft if our needs remain the same? Cole, I think it's Rousseau right now. And that's without me doing a lot of research. But, well, to me, it's got to be defense. That period, end of story. Parsons, probably Parsons. Because, and I want the edge rusher just as much as everybody else. I really do. But with this defense, I think it's more important to have a good, a good all-around linebacker, a coverage linebacker. It's a defense that creates pass rush through scheme more so than having an elite edge rusher. I say it all the time. Name one elite edge rusher in New England history. The Buffalo Bills didn't have an elite edge rusher last year. So you don't need, if you have a great surrounding team, guys that are good in coverage, you have versatile players in the secondary. I think that's where you're going to create your pass rush. So I actually would lean towards the linebacker if I had to pick one. Obviously, I want both. And if they could get the pass rusher in free agency, but if you're telling me, I'd probably lean linebacker. As crazy as that may sound to some people, I think I'd be leaning with Parsons. Chris, did you see what I DM'd you on Twitter? If you just DM me, no, but I'll check it after. Asia, what is your favorite unknown player from the Giants? But you can't. Who is your favorite unknown player from the Giants? But you can't. Are you asking me what's my favorite play in Giants history? Because I'm assuming that's what you're asking me when you brought up Tyree. It's got to be Eli to Manningham. And, listen, Eli to Manningham to me is a better play. Obviously the Tyree play is magical. It's against the undefeated Patriots. Nobody saw it coming. To me, that's the craziest play in the history of football. It just is. And another play that doesn't get enough credit on that drive is the Steve Smith conversion. I think it was 3rd and 11. But the Manningham throw by Eli Manning, I say it all the time, man. Those two games, the San Francisco championship game when Eli Manning got beat like a rag doll, and then that game, last drive, 4 minutes to go, first play, he throws it over the top, he puts it right where it needs to be. That's my favorite play. Obviously, I'm a huge Eli Manning fan. I'm a huge Giants fan. But just the balls he had to even attempt that throw, that might be my favorite play, even more so than the Tyree catch. Like, that play was incredible. That throw was incredible. He didn't give Manningham an option to drop the pass. So I definitely got to go with that one. Meat, man, thanks so much for love, man. Have a great night, Fabian, man. Thanks for being here, buddy. And Meat goes, what if you got guaranteed 1 million subs if you became a Yankee fan? Would you? Also, favorite animated movie. Listen, man, I love the Mets. 1 million subscribers, a lot of subscribers. I'd have to think about that. That would take me a while. You know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to put in that hard work. I'm going to earn those 1 million subscribers. And I'm going to stay true to the Mets. But if you put me on a lie detector, I don't know what the arrows would do. Because it would be nice just to be able to fast forward and have 1 million subscribers. I'm not going to lie to you. As far as my favorite animated movie, Shrek, Monsters, Inc., Toy Story, those are probably my top 3. Toy Story 3 was probably the best one. Lion King was great when I was a kid. And I actually like WALL-E. I think WALL-E's one of the more underrated animated movies. But I'd probably lean those 3 for sure. Shrek, Monsters, Inc., and Toy Story 3. I love Monsters, Inc. It might be Monsters, Inc., but I'm a big fan of all 3 of those. But thank you for the love, man. I appreciate that. No, Chris, I can't leave the Mets, man. And my Celtics fan here. Also, what do you think about the Celtics? Alvaro says. I mean, I think Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches in the NBA. I think the Celtics are a tough team. And maybe they could go on a run. I've seen a lot of people talk about them potentially representing the East. The East is kind of open, even though I know the Bucks are far and away the best record. They could do it. I wouldn't be shocked if they do it. Do I think they're going to win the championship? No. But I didn't think Toronto was going to win the championship last year either. So things can happen. Injuries can happen. Obviously, the Warriors sustained some injuries, and that helped the Raptors. But you never know, in the NBA. So we'll see. I definitely think you're getting to at least the second round. And I have a lot of respect for Brad Stevens. I think he's a great coach. Thoughts on draft day? Completely unrealistic. That's my thoughts on draft. Entertaining, but completely unrealistic. All the trades that happened in that movie. Do you think the Pats make the Super Bowl? I've said it a number of times. I think the Pats, to me, is the most interesting storyline in the NFL this year. I really do. And, I've always been fixated on that. I've always wanted to get that answer. I have. Can Belichick do it without Brady? And I'm really excited to see, now that he got Cam Newton, what he can do. And I'm excited to see what he can do with Cam Newton, because Cam Newton is a completely different type of quarterback, something that he's never had before. Belichick's never had a weapon like that at the quarterback position, and he's going to have to change his complete offense, but Belichick's going to come up with a game plan. He changes the offense every year. So I'm really excited about that. I really am. I'm jacked up about it. I'm excited to see what the Patriots do this year. Normally, I root against the Patriots. I'm excited to see it, man. Without Brady, and I'm excited to see Brady without Belichick. I think it's going to be really entertaining this year. Getting to follow both of those teams. I think that's the most interesting storyline, away from the Giants, of course. Benjamin, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, man. He says, did you watch the hot dog eating contest? You should definitely be on the next one with Matt Stoney and Joey Chestnut. I would definitely watch it. I know Bad Dog wouldn't be. No, I saw the highlights. I kind of stopped watching those a couple of years ago. I used to watch it. Kobayashi, I think, was the Asian guy. He used to always win, and Joey Chestnut just wins every year. But when I saw the total that Joey Chestnut had, I was like, what? Because I never remember Joey Chestnut putting up numbers like that. I remember like 58, 59, 60, and maybe I'm wrong. I never remember anything close to 75. That guy ate 75 hot dogs, and without mustard. I gotta have mustard on my hot dogs. But he had 7. Can you imagine eating 75 hot dogs? That's insane. Let's see what we got here. Put down the crack pipe, Poppy Chad. Let's see what we got here. Oh, 90s NBA is great, Chad. I don't know what you're talking about. 90s NBA was great. David Price, yeah, I saw that. I saw that David Price is going to sit out the season. That sucks. I feel physically sick when I can't do it, Jawad. And they eat all different types of food. It's not just, it's like a competitive sport. Like, they do oysters, they do all these different things. I didn't know that until a few years ago. But yeah, it's like year round. Obviously, the hot dog's the biggest one. Let's see what we got here. If Jones takes a step back this year, would you draft Lawrence if he was on the board? Okay, Tommy, would I? No. You know what? That's so hard for me to answer. First off, the only way that's possible, we have to have the first pick. Unless Lawrence has a horrible year, but at that point, you're probably not taking him. Lawrence is going number 1. So, you're putting me in the hypothetical situation where the New York Giants finish with the worst record in football. So, if the Giants finish with the worst record in football, Gettleman's gone. They're not keeping Gettleman if they win 2 games. And if Gettleman is gone, there's no attachment to Daniel Jones. And if they won 2 games, unless Jones got hurt, this is all based on circumstance. But like you said, if he regressed. If Jones plays horrible and they win 2 games, and Trevor Lawrence, who's supposed to be a once-in-a-generational talent at the quarterback position, this isn't going to happen, by the way. I believe in Daniel Jones, but in that scenario, is it possible? Yes. Would I want it to happen? No. I'd probably still want them to trade down and get a ton of assets. To try to fill up this team, because you could get a ton for that number 1 pick, especially if I still believed in Daniel Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to regress this year. I think at a minimum, he stays status quo. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you guys that I think he's going to be the next Peyton Manning. I don't. But I think he can be a very good quarterback. I believe in Daniel Jones. I think he's going to have a good year. I'm not even thinking about that. But in that hypothetical scenario, yeah, it's possible. If we had the first pick, I'd be lying to you if I told you it wasn't. Gettleman would be gone. There's no attachment to Jones. There's a quarterback staring you in the face that's a once-in-a-generational talent by most people's standards. I'd be lying to you if I told you it wasn't a possibility if we were picking first overall. Let's see what we got here. LeBron isn't even I disagree with that. I definitely think LeBron's a top 5 player ever. NFL quiz. Who holds the NFL record for best career average yards per catch for receivers with at least 200 career catches? Hint, it was a New York Giant. Really, Jay? Huh. That's an interesting one. All right, 200 catches, highest yards per catch. Huh. I mean, I don't think it's Beckham. No. It's got to be somebody who had, obviously long catches. I'm trying to think of guys that, were known specifically. It's got to be, maybe is it like an old-time player? Because I'm thinking of the Giants receivers in recent history. I'm trying to think of like a home run threat. I honestly have no idea. I'm trying to think of somebody. I honestly have no idea. Let me see what people in the chat say. I don't think it's Toomer. What's going on, Malik? Man, glad to see you here, man. How you been, buddy, Malik? Hint, you saw his entire career. But, Jay, you've been around a lot longer than me, though. You've been around a lot longer than me. Victor Cruz, you know what? It might be Cruz. Because Cruz didn't have a ton of catches that year. He had like 1,700 yards. I think it's Cruz. Did Cruz have 200 career catches? Because he was, I don't know if he didn't have 200 career catches as a Giant, I don't think. Maybe he did. Is it Cruz? It might be Cruz. It might be Cruz. It is Cruz, huh? All right. Victor Cruz. There you go. That's a good trivia question. I like that one. Oh, it's Homer Jones. I would have never gotten that one. But Cruz makes a lot of sense. He had a very high, yards per catch that year. Oh, yeah, why I didn't have subscribers on? That's why. Yeah, I didn't have time to organize it this week. But next week, I'm going to do it. Ruben Randall was horrible. Ruben Randall was awful. He dropped everything. Do you think Tom Coughlin will have a job in the NFL? Chris Leone loves Tom Coughlin. You absolutely love Tom Coughlin. And so do I, by the way. No, I don't. He's old. I think most organizations probably look at him as a guy whose time has passed. He's kind of an old school guy. You look at most teams nowadays, they're looking for younger minds. That's the direction of the NFL. I would be surprised. I would be surprised, especially with the way things left off with Jacksonville. I think Coughlin's done. Enjoy your retirement. You're going to the Hall of Fame, or at least you should be. The guy, when you look at what Coughlin accomplished as a coach, I don't think people realize. Okay? Obviously, he won the 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. That guy took an expansion team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, in their second year of existence, to the AFC Championship game. And I think he went there 2 other times, if I'm not mistaken. At least 1 other time. And the Jaguars were a great team while he coached there. Tom Coughlin's a great coach. He should be going to the Hall of Fame. But enjoy your retirement, man. Enjoy your retirement. I don't think he's going to get another opportunity. Tana, that 2011 team probably took a couple of years off as us Giants fans with all the stress at the end. Yes. Oh, my God. That year was so stressful, Jawad. Every game came down to the wire, whether we won or lost. What's going on, Dustin, man? Thanks for being here, buddy. Stand up, my man. Chris, do you see Belichick having an executive role with the Giants? That's possible. People have brought that up. That's possible. It's too hard to say. But, I mean, we all know that he loves the Giants. He started with the Giants. He always talks about how he gets goosebumps when he walks into the building. The one team that he always says very complimentary things about is the New York Giants. I think he tried to help the Giants out with Judge, or at least I'm hoping that's the case. If there was one place that he was going to end up, in that type of role outside of New England, I do think it would be the New York Giants. Will it happen? I'm not going to say it's likely, but I wouldn't rule it out. That's what I'll say. Thank you so much, Asia. I appreciate that. Chris, how come Duke has a good basketball team, but their other sports teams suck? Well, Asia, I mean, Duke actually was really bad in basketball before Krzyzewski got there. Coach K, obviously known as one of the best coaches in all of sports. Coach K, I believe, if I remember correctly, came from Navy. And I think he did a pretty good job with Navy, got the job with Duke, and he completely flipped that program. So I think it has to do with Coach K. I think Krzyzewski's the driving force. And, he obviously flipped that program, improved that program, and he had the ability. There's an example of a guy that had the ability, because at the time, Duke was not a major program when he was starting to improve them. He probably could have went to Indiana, and had Bobby Knight, but he could have went to a really established program, and instead of doing that, he stayed where he was. So he kind of built that team up. He stayed there, and that's why they grew. But yeah, I think Coach K is the reason. That's the reason. He attracts players to the university. That's the reason. Oh, thank you so much, JB12. I appreciate it. He says, better wide receiver, Plaxico or Victor Cruz? It's got to be Plaxico. I mean, Victor Cruz had the better year. But, I mean, Victor Cruz, if we're being honest, was only great for a year and a half because of injuries. Not his fault. Plaxico was good before he came to the Giants, and then he was really good for 3 or 4 years with the Giants. So, and he was instrumental in the growth of Eli Manning. So I got to go with Burris overall. If you're talking about who had more of an impact on the Super Bowl that the team won, even though Burris was instrumental. I say it all the time. Burris in that NFC Championship game was the player of the game against the Packers. I mean, he put the team on his back. But in terms of, who was instrumental in the championship season, it's Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz, as much as I love Eli Manning, and I say Eli Manning should have gotten serious consideration for the MVP that year. He really should have. As much as I love Eli Manning, Victor Cruz was right there with him in terms of the team's most valuable player. That team just hit another gear once Victor Cruz came on the team, and that offense just went off. He was unbelievable that year. That's got to be, that's got to be one of the 5 or 6 most best individual years for a wide receiver in terms of what he meant to a team carrying them to a Super Bowl. It came out of left field. The guy only played, I think he only started 12 or 13 games. He had like 1,700 yards. I mean, every week the guy was going for, a 50-yard touchdown. Victor Cruz that year was unbelievable. Unbelievable. One of the best seasons ever. If he played 16 games that year, he's having, 1,850, 1,900 yards. And, was a huge reason we won a Super Bowl. He was unbelievable that year. Let's see what we got. Cruz was the emotional factor. Yeah, Cruz was unbelievable. Coach K was at Indiana under Knight, then went to... Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I knew he had some kind of relationship to Knight. He started with Knight. I knew he coached... It was Army. It wasn't Navy. It was Army. My mistake. Coached at Army, and then he ended up at Duke. I can't be the only one who thinks that Pepper's coverage ability is shaky. What needs to slim down? Yeah, I mean, I think he's more of an in-the-box safety, kind of like Landon Collins. I don't think he's great in coverage. I think he's going to be used a lot in the linebacker role. I think you're going to see a lot of 3 safety sets. But yeah, he's not great in coverage. He's better probably than Collins in coverage, but he's definitely not great in that aspect. I agree with you. I think most Giant fans probably agree with you. I don't think most people think he's unbelievable in coverage. Yeah, I think it's a good point you bring up. Hakeem Nicks was one of the best. Hakeem Nicks, man. First, the one thing I always think about with Hakeem Nicks is the hands. The guy had 5X gloves. And I'll tell you what, man, as much as I rag on Jerry Reese, he hit on that pick. Hakeem Nicks before the injury. If Hakeem Nicks never gets hurt and he stays with the Giants, doesn't go to the Colts, Hakeem Nicks might have been the greatest receiver in team history. I mean, I'm serious. That's how good he was. Toomer obviously never got hurt. He had the longevity. He was here his entire career. But Hakeem Nicks was trending in the right direction. He was great for the few years he was with the Giants. And obviously you remember the Hail Mary catch against the Packers. Him and Cruz that year. I mean, that duo was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Malik, man, thank you so much, man, for the love. I appreciate it. Don't forget about Larry Fitzgerald that year, too. Larry Fitzgerald in 2008. Well, I think it was, right? The year after the Giants. Yeah, 2008, Larry Fitzgerald. I think, right? The year after the Giants won the Super Bowl, the first one. Or no, was that? No. Yeah. That, you're right about that. Especially in the playoffs. Larry Fitzgerald put that team on his back. It was every week. That team sucked. That Arizona Cardinals team was bad. Kurt Warner was in the twilight of his career. Every week, Larry Fitzgerald was posting like 200 yards during the playoffs. He was unbelievable. And then he got the big contract, and, not his fault. Larry Fitzgerald, I always say it, Fitzgerald's my favorite player that's not a New York Giant. I love Larry Fitzgerald. The guy's a competitive. He's a team player. He does whatever needs to be done. The other thing that I really love about Fitzgerald, he plays a position that is notorious for being a diva position and me-first position. And Larry Fitzgerald, as great as he is the complete opposite of that. And that's what I love about him. I absolutely love Larry Fitzgerald. And that year, he was incredible in the playoffs. He was unbelievable. Top 5 receiver of all time. Do you collect NFL cards? When I was a kid, I used to. I don't really do the cards anymore. When I was a kid, I used to. If it wasn't for that footage, yeah, New York Mets for sure. How long will it take for the Giants to rebuild? I think by 2021, Joey. I think you're going to see the Giants competitive. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I think by 2021 we're going to be competitive. I think we could definitely be a playoff team by 2021. But obviously a lot of it is going to be dependent on Daniel Jones progressing this year and these draft picks being as good as we hope that they are. But I think that there's reason for hope and optimism for the future. I definitely think there is. And I think anybody that doesn't see that is pessimistic. I'm not saying it's a sure thing, but I definitely think that there's reason for optimism. I hope Fitz gets a ring too. I love Fitz. You're talking about one of the best ever in the last 60 years, Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, when you think top 5 receivers, you got Fitzgerald, you got Rice. You've got, Calvin Johnson had a short career, but he was great. I mean, there's so many great receivers. But obviously Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, but Fitzgerald is up there. Fitzgerald is up there. JB, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. Corey Webster was my guy. Did the job against Corey Webster was great. Corey Webster is one of the most underrated Giants of all time. That question consistently comes up on Twitter a lot. People ask who's the most underrated Giant of all time. A lot of fans will tell you Corey Webster. He was incredibly underrated. When you think about all-time great Giants, Webster's a name that not a lot of people bring up. Corey Webster was really good for the Giants. Now, again, it wasn't that long, but he was really good. I think 2021 we're going to be better. A lot of it's going to be flex. A lot of it's going to have to do with the, obviously the maturation of the younger players and them getting accustomed to the new systems. But you would think, by the second year in that system, they should be more developed. These younger players should be that much better. They're going to have some more cap space to bring in more established pros. And by year 3, we're hoping Daniel Jones really is ready to take that next step. So I'm optimistic about the future. I am. Let's see. Oh, man, Ben, man, thanks so much for that, man. He says, do you have a sibling rivalry with Greg? I know you mentioned you have a sister. When can we see the 3? I don't think you'll ever see my sister on YouTube. But me and my brother, yes. Especially when it comes to movies. We definitely have a rivalry. Okay, so like I told you, my brother is a huge Star Wars fanatic. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fanatic. And it's not just with those movies, but we get into constant debates with movies. So, yeah, we definitely have a rivalry when it comes to that. For sure. But, we obviously have a really good relationship. Mets fan, man, have a great night, man. I appreciate it, man. What about Chase Black? I like Chase Blackburn. Rodney Hampton has to be the most underrated. Rodney Hampton was great. Number 27. I remember him when I was a kid growing up. Great running back for the Giants. Charlie Way. He's definitely up there as well, Rodney Hampton. It's a name you don't hear that over. I'll tell you what, man. As much as a lot of Giants fans hate Tiki Barber, and rightfully so for what he did, I think by some Giants fans he's underrated. Tiki Barber he's the greatest running back in franchise history, and I think some Giant fans don't recognize that because of what he did. So I understand it, but Tiki Barber was great. He was great. So I think some Giant fans. I'm not saying all. I think some Giant fans underrate him. I hope Andrew Thomas is the GOAT. I definitely got high hopes for him. Why do you and Greg sound nothing alike? I don't know. That's a good question. Not all brothers look alike. Not all brothers sound alike. I don't know what to tell you. Rodney Hampton played on horrible teams. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Bad Dog Sports. What's going on, Bad Dog? Thanks for popping in the stream. If you guys haven't done so, go check him out. And he said Tiki Barber is a damn Hall of Famer. I can't disagree with that statement. Had he played one more year, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame if he plays one more year. There's no doubt about it. Even if they don't win that Super Bowl, I think that, he would have had, at least 1,800 more yards from scrimmage. At least. I mean, when he retired, I think he led the league in yards. So, yeah, he left at the pinnacle of his career. One more year, he makes the Hall of Fame. Now, the interesting question, and we'll never know it, did the Giants win a Super Bowl if Barber stays? And I honestly think no. And some people may think that's crazy, but It's not even the chemistry thing, because I think that's where people go to. They say Eli Manning took off when Tiki left because he was holding him back, yada, yada, yada. And you saw that throughout the year, especially when Shockey went down. That was another guy that people said was holding him back. Kevin Boss comes in. Eli starts to look smoother down the stretch. But I think it even has more to do with the fact that by Tiki leaving, it forced the Giants to use a running back by committee approach, and they were fresher. And the Giants that year, you could argue, had a better running attack without Barber than with him. As great as Tiki Barber was, when you were using all three of the running backs with Barber with Bradshaw and Jacobs and Ward, the Giants had a really good running attack that year. So I just think the running back by committee approach might have been more successful than having Tiki Barber, as crazy as that may sound to some people. So that's my theory with it. His doubt in Eli, just like Odell, not true. Yeah, well, fans didn't love him for that. Since we can't keep both Leo and Dalvin, should we trade one of them? And what's a fair asking price? See, Nikki, that's a great question, but here's my line of thinking there. I don't know if I would trade him because, one, teams aren't going to be jumping through hoops to trade for these guys because they know that they're going to be free agents next year. They're not, as much. I like them as players. Don't get me wrong, but you're not talking about a guy that's going to put you over the top. You're not talking about a supreme edge rusher. So I don't think you're going to get a great package. You're just not. You look what we got for Damon Snacks Harrison. So my line of thinking is this: I'll wait it out unless I'm getting more than what a comp pick would deliver me. Which in the case of Leonard Williams, you're probably getting a third-round comp pick if you let him walk. Unless, of course, we spend more on another player and it offsets it, which maybe that would be in the Giants' plans. But I think you would probably get more, or at least as much, if you get the comp pick for Leo Williams, as if you were just to trade him. So I would just wait it out and get the comp pick personally. That's my line of thinking. When you look into the fact that they're both going to be free agents the next year, they don't hold long-term value. They're guys that are just going to help for this 1 year. So I'd let him play out the contract and get that comp pick if I'm not going to keep him the following year. Let's see what we got here. Seems like a lot of money for Leonard. Yeah, Leonard Williams is crazy. To think he's worth $18 to $20 million. He's worth nowhere near that. I saw that on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, all right, I got to speak on this. I think we kind of knew what his asking price. I didn't know it was that high. I thought he talked about that. I don't remember the number being that high. I thought it was. But maybe it was. I don't. I thought Vecchiano came out with that a couple of weeks ago, like I said in the video. But the deadline is July 15th. We'll see what happens. JB, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate it. He says, better coach, McAdoo or Shermer? I mean, I got to go McAdoo, even though they're both atrocious. They're both atrocious. I like Shermer more. I just think he's a better guy. McAdoo, I just thought was a complete tool. As a guy, I like Shermer more. They both suck. They're both atrocious. McAdoo lost the locker room all right, it depends on how you measure a coach. And we're talking about measuring the worst of the worst, okay? McAdoo made the playoffs. But if we're being fair, McAdoo had a win-now team. They went out there. They spent a boatload that year. They won 11 games because they bring the three best defensive players in free agency. Let's call it the way it is, okay? The next year, they're horrible. Now, they definitely had some injuries. But the one thing I'll say in favor to Shermer when I'm comparing these two, and we're comparing horrible coaches, but the one thing I'll say in Shermer had a really bad team both years. But the one thing I can say about Shermer, and he didn't lose the locker room. He didn't lose the team for the most part. Now, he lost one guy, Janoris Jenkins. But for the most part, the team didn't quit. Okay? With McAdoo, the team quit. Period. Now, the one thing you can say with McAdoo, they had a lot of veterans. This was more of a younger team trying to develop. So that's kind of in Shermer's favor. They both suck. I'm glad both are gone. They're about even. They're both really bad coaches. And neither one of them should have been the head coach. Let's see what we got here. Was it the right decision to pass on Isaiah Simmons? Joey, yes. If you watch my channel, yes. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. But yes, I was a tackle guy since week 14 last year. I thought we needed to go tackle. Yes. There's nothing to do with Simmons. I think Simmons is going to be a great player. The Giants got a second-year quarterback. You don't have a blindside protector. You had an opportunity in a draft that was thought to be the strongest tackle draft in a long time. It was the first time in like over 20 years where 4 tackles went in the first 15 picks. It was the year to do it. All signs pointed to it. You had a young running back. You had a young quarterback. You needed to fix that offensive line. You have all old veterans on that line. You needed to, and it was the draft to do it. It was a rich tackle draft in the first round. So, yes, I was always in favor of taking the tackle. So, yeah, I don't think it was a mistake to pass on Simmons. Even though I think he's going to be a great player. I'm not saying he's not. I think he's going to be a great player. We should trade for Chris Jones. He's way better, and he wants the same as Williams. Yeah, but here's my question: Why would they trade him? I don't know. What's going on, Sebastian? McAdoo was horrible. He lost the locker room. He lost the locker room. What's up, Waterfly, man? Thanks so much for being here, buddy. I appreciate. Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. Thank you guys for being the best supporters on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I always say it. Without you guys, the channel's nothing. It's the truth. And I know everybody says it, but it's the truth. I mean, you guys don't tune into our videos, our live streams. You guys incentivize us to work as hard as we do. Every morning I wake up, I try to come up with something, even though it's dead right now. I try to come up with a video, but at the same time, I don't want watered down content. I don't want banned content. So I try to wait until there's something worthy of talking about. But I've been trying to give you guys a daily video. And obviously, if we have football, you're getting a lot of videos from me. So I can't say thank you enough, for you guys pushing me to work as hard as I do. So I appreciate it. Gonna hop on the Discord. That's awesome, Sebastian, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. Diehard, man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for being a great supporter of the channel. Chiefs don't have cap to keep them. So you're saying after this year? You're talking about mid-season because the Chiefs are trying to win a Super Bowl this year. But maybe. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate that. Meat, man, thank you very much. He says, you and Bad Dog have yet to supply me with free beer. And I turned 21 over a month ago. When can we all? Right now, Benjamin, you live in California. You know what I'm saying, my man? Probably not the best time to be on flights. But definitely have you on the channel. Definitely have you on the channel. One of those subscriber live streams if you want to come on. And if you want to share a beer then, you're more than welcome to, my man. But I appreciate the love, man. Thank you very much, buddy. JB, man, thank you so much for love, man. I really appreciate that. He says, middle linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. Should be important. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And if there's one position where the New York Giants historically, in recent history, have neglected, I mean, you look at Jerry Reese. When did he bring in a good middle linebacker? When's the last time we had a good middle linebacker? It's Antonio Pierce, for those of you that don't know, even though I've said it a million times. So, yeah, I mean, the middle linebacker is incredibly important. You look at Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis with those 49er teams, Ray Lewis with the Ravens. Yes, especially when you have a signal caller, the mic of the defense, and hopefully that's what Martinez is. I know a lot of people criticize Martinez for his lack of, coverage skills, and that's fair to criticize, right? When you look at some of those highlight tapes that have been broken down on YouTube, you really do see how much he gets exposed. But it is valuable to have a guy that is the captain of that defense, the guy that could diagnose the offensive plays, something that the Giants have not had in terms of sustainability in a long time. Ogletree sucked. Hopefully Martinez could bring that. Malik, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate that, man. He says, yo, I miss you all having been watching. Having been watching your videos, just been bored and watching movies, and I'm a tackle guy since the playoffs. Every day saying tackle. Malik, man, I'm with you, man. Hey, I've been watching a lot of movies myself. Actually, matter of fact, I'm not trying to do another plug, but if you're a movie guy, I got a movie channel, Entertainer Talking Movies. So hopefully you come on over there, check that out. But yeah, Malik, I mean, I get you, man. I've watched 5 Netflix series, start to finish, since the pandemic. I just started another one, and I didn't know which one to watch. Andy, I don't know if he's still in here, always gives me great recommendations in my Discord for Netflix shows. I started watching House of Cards. I had never seen it before, and I find politics interesting. I don't talk politics on my channel, but I find it interesting, especially when you have good shows like that. That show is friggin' awesome. I'm 2 episodes in. I'm hooked. Absolutely love that show. I've watched so many good shows. I've watched so many. I mean, so many so far. But I just saw The Punisher. That was great. But yeah, I've been binge watching myself. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Kyle, man, thank you so much for love, man. I appreciate it. One of my favorite eras of New York Giants defense, the bowling era. That's right, man. We fly high. I'm not singing it, but I know the song you're referring to when they would do the bowling after they got the sack. I actually remember when I turned 21 in, what was that? The Super Bowl year. I remember when I turned 21, I was going out to bars. I was born in 85, and they'd play that song in the club, and everybody would do the bowling. When they would say it. I remember that. Let's see what we got here. Chris, get ready to have 1 million subs when the Giants become good and you get all these bandwagons. Just don't forget about Jawad, man. I'll never forget about you, man. Everybody in here, I won't forget. I mean, you guys are awesome. I'm never going to get to 1 million. Well, hopefully. You never know. But, Jawad, man, you're always in my live streams, man. I always see you all over, man. You're in my movie stream. You always support me. Always. So, I mean, you're a great supporter of my channel. I'll never forget you. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Ryan Conley? Okay, don't get mad at me, Giants fans. Don't get mad at me. You know, somebody posted something on Twitter asking me, and it was kind of a list of best player in the team, breakout player, and they had a section for most overrated player. And I'm not telling you Ryan Conley can't be good. Ryan Conley looked good. First 3 games, he looked like he could do something. I do think Giants fans overrate him. And that doesn't mean he can't be good. But the fact of the matter is we saw him play for 3 games. And those interceptions, at least one of them was a gift. I do think the one thing that I noticed about him, and I watched him on tape a little bit, I was thinking about doing a breakdown video of him. Ended up not doing it because I got busy. I have yet to see Mike Too Nice's tape video of him. I'm going to. I love Mike Too Nice's content. I saw he did a film breakdown of him. The one thing I noticed, I watched 1 game. I didn't watch all 3. The guy's got a great nose for the ball in terms of, diagnosing the run. He's aggressive. I think he could be a good linebacker, but I'm not ready to say that yet. The guy's coming back from an injury, and he's only played 3 games. I hope he turns out to be really good, and I know Giants fans are very high on him. And he might be that guy, and if he is, that is fantastic. And he definitely had some promising games. Let's put it that way, but I'm not ready to fully commit to him as our future linebacker. Let's put it that way. Daniel Jones or Kyler Murray? I'm not trying to be biased. I'd rather have a quarterback like Daniel Jones. That's just my honest opinion. I'm going Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray's not my type of quarterback, though. Everybody's different. Let's see what we got here. I was saying the same thing. 3 games and people want to. Yeah, it's too soon. It's too soon. Being on the right place at the right time is important. Afghanistan. I like him. I definitely like him, and he definitely could be good. I'm not ready to say it yet, though. Bangle cursed that Conley. Well, Bangle just doesn't like him. I like him. I'm just not ready to say he's great yet, but I like him. What's going on, Siobhan, Dan? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I don't like Midget Murray. I don't like Midget Murray. Oh my God, sexy. Jake, what's going on, man? I didn't know. My bad. I'm here now, man. Are you kidding me, man? You never got to apologize, man. Jake's the man. Always in my Discord. Always showing me a lot of love. I appreciate you popping in, man. Thank you very much for being here. We've still got over 200 people in here. You guys are incredible. This was a lot of fun, this stream tonight, man. It's been nonstop talking in sports with you guys. That's what I love to do, man. That's what I love about these streams, man. It's just nonstop sports. When we were talking all sports, we mixed in some movies. We talked some baseball, talked a little basketball. Obviously focusing mainly on the football aspect, but you guys are incredible. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Let's see what we got here. Don't doubt Dave Gettleman, guys. His drafts are exactly what we need. I'm with you, Jay. You know I'm a Gettleman guy. You know that. I'm not saying everything he does is right. He definitely makes some wrong decisions, but overall, I like what he's done for this team. Best New Year. I appreciate that, Sarge, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you for being here, man. I really do. Wyoming. We got a Wyoming. Are you a Giant fan from Wyoming? And if you are, I want to hear your story. I really do. I've never been to Wyoming. David Wilson had potential. Yeah. David Wilson definitely had potential. Not Barkley type potential, but I think he was the first running back drafted that year, if I'm not mistaken. Number 32 overall. Definitely had a lot of potential. Definitely, he had fumbling issues, but definitely had potential to be a good running back. No doubt about it. Just hope the owners are patient. Well, to their credit, in terms of the team building approach, at least the last 2 years, they have been. In terms of the coach, maybe not. But, I mean, I can't blame them for firing Sherman. He wasn't good. I just hope I'm with you though. I hope they let Gettleman get at least another year. Continue to see the rebuild through, because you don't want to get like I've always said, you don't want to get a guy in here that has a completely different philosophy. Because look at what people complain about. The biggest complaint that people have for Gettleman is, the people that hate Gettleman. Let's call it out as the people that hate Dave Gettleman. What's their biggest complaint? Outside of let's take away the Leonard Williams trade, because that's an obvious reason not to be happy with Dave Gettleman. Outside of that, why do people, and outside of his brash attitude, which I get, he could be obnoxious, but I'm just talking about decision making. Not bringing back Landon Collins. Some people hated that. Trading away Odell Beckham. A lot of people didn't like that. Trading away Damon Snacks Harrison. A lot of people didn't like that. So on and so forth. Name the players. What do you think is going to happen if you replace Dave Gettleman mid-rebuild? What do you think is going to happen? For all the people that hated all the players Gettleman got rid of, do you think a GM's going to want to come in here that has a completely different philosophy and have the players that Gettleman drafted on his roster? No. He's going to want his team. So I'm not, and then maybe they will hire from within. And if they do that, that's better. But if you bring in a completely different GM with a completely different philosophy, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to do the same thing Gettleman did. Gettleman got rid of what he thought was the players he didn't want, which were all Jerry Reese guys. Well, insert name here. He's going to get rid of Dave Gettleman guys, and then you're going to have to start the rebuild all over again. It's what I've said. You're not supposed to switch GMs mid-rebuild. It's a big mistake. And, like I said, if they hire from within, that's something different. If they give Joe Judge more responsibility, Abrams takes over the reins, that's a little different. But if you bring in a guy with a completely different philosophy, you could be starting from scratch. And that's what I worry about. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Jedi? We gonna suck. we definitely cleared cap space. Happy Odell and Landon are gone. Kevin Wall says, yeah. I'm not saying that I hate it. I didn't say that. I said some Giants fans do. No, we should not have drafted Derek Brown, Jake. Take that back. I grew up in Long Island, but I've been living out here in Wyoming since 2012. One of 5 Giants fans here in the whole state. Broncos, yeah, of course, Broncos. That's the closest team there. Oh, that's cool though. That's cool, man. So I'm on Long Island myself, so that's awesome, man. That's a random state to choose. Growing up in New York your whole life and going to, I'm assuming it was probably business related or maybe you met a girl. But yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Hola there, Last Jedi. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, next time you're with a girl, try the tongue tornado. If you don't know what it is, watch American Pie 1. Oh, Benjamin, I will have to rewatch that one. I don't remember that move. But I appreciate the heads up. I do. I love American Pie is one of my favorite series as well. Hysterical. All of them are really good. Stifler's the man. Stifler's mom. I love that series. That's another actor. When I was younger, people said I looked like was what's his name? I forgot the character's name, but it's not Stifler. There's a character in that movie that somebody said the guy who banged Stifler's mom. That guy. I can't remember his name, but people have said that as well. Well, not so much now, but I've heard that before. Njoku will not be traded. We'll see. I mean, he's demanding a trade. We'll see, Brandon. John, you know what, John? He's got to be a mod. I don't know why he's not. I just got rid of all the mods, so it has nothing to do with Bad Dog. I started from scratch, and I gradually give him back. He's got a mod now. So there you go. Bad Dog needs a mod, of course. Who do you sign? Evans or Peppers? Evan? What do you mean by Evans? You mean Mike Evans, Marco? Oh, you mean you mean Evan Ingram? Is that what you mean? You mean Evan Ingram? I mean, I can't answer that yet. We gotta wait till we see if he remains healthy. I can't answer that yet. But for both of those guys, I don't know if I keep either one. I mean, both of them had injury concerns last year, so that's a good question. But I can't answer that until after this year. But I was definitely in favor of keeping both on the rookie deals. It only made financial sense. What's going on, Nick Young? I will give him out. I already gave out 5 this stream. I'm trying to give him out gradually. You know you'll get one. Especially as the season gets closer, I'm going to give more and more out. But I know if I give you one, then there's going to be another person, another person, another person. So you'll get one. You'll get one. I know you're here all the time. What's up, Hot Take Hockey, man? Thanks for popping in. If you guys are hot, we were talking about hockey earlier. If you guys are hockey fans, go on over there and check them out, man. Blue Collar, man, thank you so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, Tana, give me 2 obscure movies that you love, but probably not very popular. Ooh. See, I want to give you good ones. That's something I'd have to think about. I mean, Kingpin I don't think a lot of people know about, but obviously I've already said that one, so that doesn't count. That's one of my comedies that I think I think a good amount of people don't know about. I love that movie. I think I said it the other night. I don't know if you were here. I love Lucky Number 11. I think that has such a great twist. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or seen that. I think that has such a great twist at the end of it. It's just my type of movie. It's got great actors in it. Bruce Willis is in it. Number of other great actors. I can't remember off the top of my head. Josh Hartnett's in it. Lucy Liu's in it. Lucky Number 11 is a random movie that I really like. And Just Cause, if you've ever seen that, that's a really good random movie. It was around like 93, 94. It's another like twist type movie. Fallen with Denzel Washington is another. I like twist movies. I really do like those types of movies. Fallen is really good. It has one of the coolest twists ever. I'm not going to give it away, and it's something that you may not even realize after the movie, and you got to kind of go back and watch it again to get the twist. At least I did. I was younger when I watched it. But those are some cool movies. Those 3 off the top of my head that a lot of people probably don't know about. Yeah, definitely check out Sports Expert, man. Great supporter of mine. Go check him out, man. Do you think Ingram is another Shockey? Do I think Ingram's another Shockey? I mean, I don't think he's not. I mean, he's definitely more of a team guy than Shockey. Shockey was more about himself. I think Shockey was tougher, for sure. I think Shockey was definitely a tougher football player. Ingram's a better athlete. But yeah, I mean, they're both incredibly talented tight ends in terms of being a wide receiver. But I don't view Ingram as like a guy that's going to stunt the growth of a quarterback like some people view Jeremy Shockey. Ingram's just got to stay healthy. That's the problem there. Yeah, Bad Dog, have a great night, man. Thank you for popping in, buddy. Do you have one of those annoying next-door neighbors who keep popping? Yes, Anime. Well, not so much today, but yesterday, yes. Dave took B.J. Hill over Fred Warner, which is a very good linebacker. Yeah, I mean, B.J. Hill's pretty good, too. I mean, if you look at any pick, if you're being fair, if you look at any pick, you're always going to find somebody for the most part. I mean, like I said, you could even look at the Odell Beckham pick and say, well, they could have taken Donald or they could have taken Zach Martin. So, I mean, B.J. Hill was a pretty good pick for where they picked him. But, yeah, I mean, you could always look at any pick. Now, the thing that bothered me about the Evan Ingram pick wasn't that he picked Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a productive pro. You can't, in terms of value at 23, Evan Ingram's a pretty good pick in terms of talent. My argument there, it was a luxury we couldn't afford at the time. So, I understand the B.J. Hill pick. I didn't understand the Ingram pick. So sometimes I argue more so just the pick doesn't make sense. The Giants had a horrible offensive line. They had no pass rush, and they selected a tight end who couldn't block. I can't get on for the B.J. Hill pick. B.J. Hill was good in his rookie year. He didn't get really an opportunity last year after they got Williams. I like B.J. Hill. I still think he could be a nice part of the future for this team. What about switching the defense to a 4-3? I mean, I think you're going to see 4-3 this year. I think you're going to see some 3-4. I think you're going to see some 4-3. I don't think they're going to be a singular defense. I say it all the time. People say 4-3 or 3-4. What do you like more? To me, it's the coaching, it's the personnel. If you have the personnel that's better equipped for the 3-4, I like the 3-4 better. I think both could be very successful. I prefer the 4-3 just because if you have great edge rushers, and again, it requires great edge rushers, but if you have great edge rushers, you don't have to blitz. So personally, I prefer the 4-3, but I think both could be very successful in this league. I think they could be, with the right players and the right coaching staff, the 3-4 can work. It's just a matter of developing the talent. He's not a Reese pick. Who's not a Reese pick? Evan Ingram's a Reese pick. Evan Ingram was a Reese pick. I don't know who you're talking about, but Evan Ingram was a Reese pick. I'm not saying B.J. Hill. I was referring to Evan Ingram when I talked about it. Let's see what we got here. Shockey had few good years, and it was over fast, May Ford says. Yeah, Shockey was good for probably about 5 years. 5 years. A daily reminder: the Steelers will finish better than the Browns. That is Jake's sleeper pick. He's a big Steelers guy this year. And I'm rooting for that pick. I hope he does well. Jake's been calling that all offseason. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for letting me. Finch, that was it. Finch. I always thought Vicky was hot. Vicky was hot. But yes, I was compared to Finch. Well, by a couple of people. I remember when I was a kid growing up. People said I looked a little bit like him. But the guy I always got the most was Nicolas Cage. How did Bad Dog and me meet? Griffin says. We met in person once. We met at the Giant Jet game last year. But that was obviously organized. We met on YouTube. And I was just starting out. And, I was starting to build a little bit of a following. And I had a lot of my subscribers. I think I had maybe like 1,200 subs. I wasn't that big. And I had a lot of my subscribers were asking me to collaborate with other Giants video makers. And, a lot of them said you should ask Bad Dog. So I went into Bad Dog's stream. And I asked him, because Bad Dog was streaming like almost every night back then. And, yeah, I asked him. And he was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And the first week he canceled. Something came up. I don't remember what. And then the next week, he was on my channel. And ever since then, we've been working together. I think it's been 86 straight episodes. And it's been a lot of fun, man. And you guys, we say it all the time. You guys are the reason why it's fun. I mean, you guys blow up those streams. It's fun to talk to you guys. It's fun to talk sports. But, yeah, I just met him on YouTube. Just two Giants video makers that, ended up liking each other a lot. And we work together all the time. Stan, man, thanks so much for love. I appreciate it, man. He says, prime Odell Beckham or healthy Hakeem Nicks. Oh, you got to go with Odell Beckham. And I'm not even, you guys know I don't love Odell Beckham, but in terms of just a talent, you got to go with Odell Beckham. I mean, Hakeem Nicks is great. Loved Hakeem Nicks. Odell Beckham was the most talented wide receiver in the league, at least for a period of time. As great as Hakeem Nicks was, he was never that. Nicks was definitely top 10 and was a great wide receiver. But, yeah, no, it's Beckham. When they were at their best, it's Beckham. Now, who meant more to me? Hakeem Nicks. He won a Super Bowl. He gave me playoff memories. I'll tell you right now, I'll take the catch against the Packers any day of the week over the one-handed catch against the Dallas Cowboys. We lost that game. It was a regular season game. The team sucked. Packers game helped us go to a Super Bowl. So in terms of who means more to me as a Giants fan, it's Hakeem Nicks. In terms of who's the better player, it's Odell Beckham. Benjamin, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it. He says, all right, Chris, I'm out. The girlfriend needs me. I'll see you next week. I'm coming into LaGuardia at 12:30 p.m. We can get a beer then. Sounds good, Benjamin. Enjoy the girlfriend, man. I appreciate all the love you showed me all night. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being such a great supporter of the channel, man. Hey, man, I get the Knicks argument. I mean, when you think Giants, I get why people would think Knicks. I get it. For the same reason I just said. See you later. Ben, thank you for being here, by the way, sports expert. Stop lying to yourself, Chris. Andy said. Andy loves Odell Beckham. I get it. Bradley, man, have a great night, man. Thank you for being here, buddy. Okay, here we go. Thank you, JB, man. Prime Strahan or Prime LT? Oh, LT. And I didn't even get to see LT, live. Obviously, I've seen, like I say, the highlight clips and everything else and, the games after the fact. LT. And Strahan's incredible. Strahan's one of the best pass rushers of all time, but LT is the best pass rusher of all time. They're both great. They're both clearly Hall of Famers. They're both in the Hall of Fame. Strahan's the best Giant since I've been watching the team. But overall, you got to go with LT. Got to. But thank you so much for letting me, man. I appreciate it, man. Yo, Chris, James Dolan. Oh, God. James Dolan sucks. Okay, Jay? He sucks. He's the worst. You name something bad an owner can do, he's done it. He's done it. He kicked a legend out of the stadium with Charles Oakley. I was at that game, by the way. He kicked the most famous fan out in New York Knicks history with Spike Lee last year. The guy's forced trades he shouldn't have forced. He's obnoxious. He doesn't let the GMs do the job they're supposed to do. He sucks. He's horrible. He's the worst. Kyle, man, thanks so much for that, man. I appreciate it, man. We need to attain a food channel. Maybe one day, Nicky. You never know. Kyle says, stream idea. Rewatch all 4 Giants winning Super Bowls. Kyle, I've thought about doing that, actually. I've thought about doing a watch-along. I remember suggesting that a couple of months ago. The only thing I worry about is, will my channel get a strike? But I've thought about doing a watch along where you see me in like the corner and we watch the games together. The 2011 Super Bowl, the playoff games, whatever. I've thought about doing that. I just don't want to get a strike. I don't want to show it and then they take my channel. You never want to get strikes on YouTube. So that's what I worry about. But if I'm allowed to do that, I would definitely do it. I think that's an awesome idea. But thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. Like the stream if you haven't already. Joe, man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, man. Look at this guy, Joey Lutz. Joey Boombots. How you doing, my man? JB, man, thank you so much, man. He says, at least Dolan tries Wilpon suck big time. Okay, you're right. I'm a Met fan. You know that. And I'm assuming based on that comment, you might be a Met fan. Wilpon sucks, okay? And he should have sold the team the second the whole Bernie Madoff thing went down. In fairness to the Wilpons, before that, and I completely agree, they should have sold the team right away. Because they could, if you're going to be an owner in a New York market, you better be willing to spend New York dollars, especially when it's a baseball team. You're not talking about a sport with a cap. You're talking about a sport where you could spend whatever you could spend. And if you're going to charge the prices you do to park, to sit in the stadium, it's 4 times more expensive to go to a Met game than it is to go to a Pirates game. If you're going to charge those prices, I expect you to invest it in the team. And the fact that he couldn't afford to do that, he should have sold the team. So I'll agree with you, after the Madoff scandal, Wilpon was worse. Overall, I will say Dolan, because at least before then, Wilpon did spend money. I think a lot of people forget about that. They did spend a lot of money before the fact. Not as much as the Yankees, but they spent a lot. But yeah, Wilpon sucks. I can't wait till they sell the team. Chris, who's the worst commissioner in sports? Oh, man. I'll tell you who the best one is. I don't know who the worst one is. I don't know hockey enough. I think Adam Silver's the best one. I think Adam Silver's the best one. I think he's a forward thinker. I think he's definitely the best one. That's just my opinion. I say that all the time. I think Silver's the best one. Yeah, I'm not really fond of any of the others. I'm sure Dolan has like 100 hits. Yeah, he probably does, Jawan. Roger Goodell is the worst committee. He's not good. He's not good. Chris, I was saying, who's your favorite unknown player, not play? Oh, is that? Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw that. My favorite unknown player? Oh, besides Tyree. Okay, that's why you said besides Tyree, because Tyree was kind of an unknown. You mean ever or on the team now? I mean, Kawika Mitchell's a guy that I often bring up that I think a lot of fans forgot about. A guy I liked on that 2007 Super Bowl team. He had that Troy Polamalu hair going. I liked him. He was a good linebacker for us. I think if I remember correctly, we got him from the Bills. I think I liked him. That's kind of an unknown guy, I guess, a guy that people forget about, don't talk a lot about. Yeah, I'll say him. Why not? I'll say him. JB, man, thanks so much for that, man. I appreciate it, man. He says, how angry would you be with A-Rod and J-Lo as owner? JB, I wouldn't be angry. I mean, not my first choice. I'm not an A-Rod guy. But anything would be better than what we have. And the way I look at it as a Mets fan is, if we get new owners, they're going to spend. I mean, they're going to try to set the team off on the right foot. They're going to want a good reputation. They're going to spend. They're going to invest it. So, especially if you're buying in New York. And A-Rod grew up a Mets fan. I think he would try to do what is best for the franchise. I'm not an A-Rod fan. I was never a fan of him as a player. I think the thing he did against the Red Sox was disgusting when he slapped the ball out of the guy's hand. He lied about taking steroids twice. I was never an A-Rod guy. But in terms of an owner, I'd be okay with it. He's better than Wilpon. R.W. McCorders was underrated. Absolutely. R.W. McCorders was definitely underrated in that secondary for the Giants. Kevin Boss is another good answer for sure. Show me Jerry Maguire. Love that movie. Hey, what do you think of Pat McAfee? I love that channel. That guy is awesome. That would be a dream to ever get to work with him. That guy's awesome. He's very relatable, knowledgeable, nice guy. Yeah, I love Pat McAfee. That's a great channel. Great channel. Great podcast. Love it. I don't watch it all the time, but when there's like an interesting topic he's talking about, I definitely tune in. Yeah, I mean, like I said, somebody asked me this the other day, outside of the Giants, who do I watch on YouTube? I mean, he's up there. Coleman, obviously, phenomenal. Brett Coleman is phenomenal. I like Tom Grossi. Tom Grossi's hysterical. He's got a really good channel. Great podcast. Great personality. Philly 500. I mean, how could you not laugh at Philly 500? So, I mean, there's so many video makers that I enjoy, but those are some of the guys that I watch the most. Meat Man, thank you so much for love, man. I appreciate it. Tana, I'm gonna hit the hey, great stream, and thanks again. Have a good night, everyone. Meat Man, thank you for all your love and support, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get those patches going. Like I said, once things start to normalize, I'm gonna try to start promoting that. But I just want to make sure I got everything set. But I appreciate that, man. I really do. I appreciate all the support you always show my channel. And yeah, man, get some sleep, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. What are some good non-sports podcasts? I'm not a huge podcast guy. Outside of sports, for the most part. I know my sister listens to political podcasts, but I'm not going to get into politics on my channel. I've listened to some of them; they're good. I mean, I gotta find a movie podcast, but I don't really listen to many podcasts, to be honest with you, outside of sports. I really don't. The Ringer, okay. I love to hang out with Harold Reynolds. Harold Reynolds. That's an interesting one. I mean, I always say Eli Manning's my guy, if I could hang out with anybody. In terms of like a guy not on the Giants that's a sports guy, I mean, I always loved Mike Piazza. I always loved Edgardo Alfonso. I'm thinking of athletes that I loved. On the Mets, Alfonso. Yeah, probably Piazza, man. Piazza was the man. He's the biggest reason probably why I'm a diehard Mets fan. So I would love. He seems like such like a great guy. So I would love to hang out with Mike Piazza. You expect DJ to be in the Pro Bowl? Probably not, Marshall. I mean, that's asking a lot in his second year in a new offense, but it's possible. Favorite non-sports YouTube channels? Ooh. I mean, I watch a lot of movie channels on YouTube. I don't watch podcasts. I watch a lot of movie channels. I watch The Real Rejects. They're entertaining. I watch a lot of those movies. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. Chris Stuckman, movie reviews. I watch a lot of movie channels, if it's not sports, for the most part. So I would say some of those guys, the bigger movie channels, Real Rejects, Chris Stuckman, and there's like 3 more guys that I can't remember the names off the top of my head. So I'd go with that. Bobby Bonilla, oh God, don't even get me started with Bobby Bonilla. I cannot, we just had Bobby Bonilla Day, July 1st. Who's the one dark horse MVP on the Yankees and Mets this year with the shortened year? Ooh, well, all right, if it's dark horse, you're not going to say the obvious guys. You're not going to say Pete Alonso. Does McNeil qualify? I mean, McNeil's the type of guy that could get hot for 2 months and bat 370. So, I mean, I guess I'll say him. You know what? I'll say Conforto. You want a dark horse, a guy that nobody would pick? Because when Conforto's hot, Conforto could carry a team for a month. He's done that numerous times. I'll say Conforto. I'll say Conforto is a dark horse MVP candidate because he could have a hot 6-week stretch. He's done it before. He's a very streaky player, but maybe he has that high streak over the 2 months. So I'll say Conforto. The Yankees, I mean, how many that team is stacked. That team's loaded. If LeMahieu counts, I know he was great last year, but I think a lot of people don't expect him to repeat it again. Yeah, I don't know the Yankees well enough. I'm a diehard Mets fan. But if I was going to pick a dark horse on the Mets, I'd pick Conforto. If McNeil counts, I'll say McNeil. I love watching. Yes, they're great. Conforto's a disappointment, but when he's hot, he's really good. Stanton and Conforto? Yeah, Stanton's not a bad one. Cespedes is, if he DHs and gets hot, yeah, he could be a dark horse as well. That's not a bad one. I'm not picking it, but I'll tell you what, man, and it's 5 years ago, but 2015, Cespedes, I mean, you want to, and it sucks because we had to give him that big contract, and he definitely didn't live up to it, but you want to talk about a rock star. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that put the team on his back. Mike Piazza did it, for years with the Mets. Nobody's done it better than Cespedes outside of Mike Piazza since I've been watching the team, and I know it was for 2 months. But for those 2 months, Cespedes was hitting a home run every other day. So, I mean, he's the type of player that, yes, if he gets hot and he's only asked to DH, I mean, he wouldn't win it because he'd be a DH probably, but he could have that he is capable of carrying a team if he's healthy. I'll agree there. Who are the Mets? Isn't that the Yankees? Who? No, they're not the Yankees minor league team, Kyle. No, but sometimes it feels that way. Biggest impact on a team I've seen. Yeah, Kevin, it was incredible in 2015. Incredible. Chris, do you watch SB Nation? They are great at on. Not really, Jawad. I should though. Who is my favorite Mets player? My favorite Mets player ever, or now? Like now, I'd probably say DeGrom. You know, I know he's a pitcher. I love DeGrom. I friggin' love him. My favorite player as a kid growing up was Edgardo Alfonso. And if you're a true Mets fan, you remember Fonzie. There was never... You want to talk about the... Mike Piazza was our best player. Edgardo Alfonso, game on the line, there was not a better player on the Mets. Not even close, ever, since I've been watching the team. The guy fought off everything. In a big spot, I knew he was getting a hit. The guy always fought off pitches. He worked the count. He was a tremendous fielder at second base. Should have won a Gold Glove in 99. Best infield of all time, ever, defensively, the 99 Mets. Edgardo Alfonso is my favorite Met ever. I loved him because he was so clutch, and he was underappreciated. I'll go with Fonzie. I didn't get to see Strawberry. I saw him, I saw him as a kid, but not when he was at his best. I love Daniel Murphy, too. Old school ball player. Loved him. There's another clutch, Matt. Obviously, what he did in the playoffs. There's another clutch, Matt. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I just root for the Mets because my dad is a fan of them. What happens first? Mets win a World Series or the Knicks do something? Mets. Knicks will never do something No, I'm kidding. The Knicks will eventually do something positive, but I think it's... Let's put it this way. I think it's much more likely the Mets win a championship before the Knicks do. Which teams in the MLB you dislike the most? Okay, which teams in the MLB do I dislike the most? I mean, I got to go with the rivals. I got to go with the Phillies, the Braves, the Nationals. Those three, in-division rivals. After that, you're not going to like hearing it, Yankees. But I definitely dislike the in-division rivals much more than the Yankees. So, there you go. The Mets need to bring up Tebow. Ugh. What an embarrassment that was. What's up, Dual Shockey? Do you feel like the shortened season would actually help the Giants because of the schedule? Yeah, I talked about that earlier, Sports. I actually think it could, as crazy as that may sound, because their easier part of the schedule is right after. I mean, I'd like to get Week 5 cut off if we can because it's in Dallas. But yes, you got 2 Redskins games you still get to keep. All our division games you get to keep, which is important, obviously, if we want to make the playoffs. And you don't have to play the 49ers. You don't have to play Pittsburgh. You don't have to travel to L.A. Now, I'd like that the Ravens, I would rather the back 4 be cut off, if I could pick, because then you don't have Seattle, you don't have Baltimore. So, but I think Seattle's in the back 4. But yeah, I mean, it could be beneficial if the first front 4 got kicked off. I'm sure that, let's put it this way, I'm sure there's teams that play a much easier first 4 games than the New York Giants. I'd have to look at the schedule specifically in the division, because I think that's our only ticket to the playoffs. But yeah, I would imagine the Giants play one of the tougher first 4 game schedules. Do you think Alonso will win the MVP? I mean, I think that's asking for a lot. I think that's asking for a lot. I mean, he was incredible last year, 53 home runs, but a lot of times, especially in baseball, there's a sophomore slump. The pitchers get a read on you from watching film. You have to make adjustments. We'll see if that happens with Alonso. I'm not expecting that type of impact this year with the Mets that he had last year. I still think he's a great ball player. I think he's going to be a great ball player. I think he could have a little bit of an adjustment period in his second year. Just my opinion, because there's more of a book on him. People actually buy Tebow. I know. Well, the Mets knew that. You knew that was a money move. Jay. I'm with you. I'm a Yankee fan, but in no way do I hate the Mets. Yeah, I listen, man. I'll be completely transparent with you. When I was in high school, I hated the Yankees. Hated them. Because think about it from a Mets fan's perspective. You're going to high school, and that was at the heart of the Yankees, right? I graduated high school in 2003. The Yankees, 98 through, really mid-2000s were, even though they weren't winning a World Series every year, 96 they won the first one, but 98 they were incredible. They were the pinnacle. And the Mets were good then. So it was like a rivalry, right? And you had to go to school every day. You had to deal with the Yankee fans picking on you, blah, 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 blah. So when I was younger, I hated the Yankees. But as I've gotten older, I wouldn't say I like the Yankees. I definitely don't root for the Yankees. But I don't have that same hatred. Like, I don't. I really don't. I definitely hate the Phillies more, the Braves more. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you I root for the Yankees, but I definitely don't have that same hatred I once did. Imagine being oh God, Pirates. Ugh. Every year, oh God, Kershaw gets bombed in the play. Kershaw's phenomenal though. Regular season pitcher Kershaw's one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, the 2000 World Series was insane, man. Steelers fan, please be depressed somewhere else. What hurt more, the 2000 or the 2015 series? Okay, so, I mean, the 2000 had to hurt more because, like I said, I was going to high school, Yankees fans. That hurt. But the 15, man, the 15 team just felt like a team of destiny. It did. You know, like, 2015, the Mets, you could not, if the Mets win the World Series that year, you could not have drawn up a better script. You got a team that's hovering around 500, right around the trade deadline. Wilmer Flores gets traded, okay? Gets traded for Carlos Gomez. That was the first trade. I think it was Wheeler, right? I think it was Wheeler and Flores got traded for Gomez. It would have been a horrible trade. Gomez was in the minor leagues like 2 years later. He was horrible. And then Flores bowls his eyes out. He's traded from the Mets. And you start to feel compassion for the kid because you see how much he loved being a New York Met. Then, 3 hours later, word comes out that the Mets scratched the trade because Gomez fails his physical. The next day, the fans pressure the Mets to trade for Cespedes. Cespedes then carries the team on his back, but the best part of the story is the next day, the guy who was bawling his eyes out, still a Met now because the trade didn't go through, hits a walk-off home run the next day as a Met. And then the Mets don't look back. They win like 50 out of 60 games. They just go right to the playoffs. They were 500, and then they just demolish everybody. Everything is clicking on all cylinders. The Dodgers series was incredible. Murphy's hitting home run after home run after home run after home run. They go through the Dodgers. They win in 5, best 3 out of 5. Then they sweep the Cubs, and the Cubs were stacked that year. And we get to the Royals, and I thought it was the year. 2000, I never thought it was the year. 15, I thought it was the year. I was like, it's destiny. We're going to win. And it just fell apart. The Royals were a horrible matchup. Their strengths were our weaknesses. They put the ball in play. They didn't strike out a lot. Our weakness was our defense. Our infield defense was horrible. And we had pitchers that blew people away, but the Royals had contact hitters, and it exposed our weakness. But yeah, 2015, man, that would have been magical if we won a World Series that year. So I think that one might have hurt more when I think about it. What's going on, Nick the Wick, man? Thank you so much for popping in the stream, man. Watching porn that is not doing what? Did you hear about Big Ben going on a Christian retreat Zoom call and opening up about once being an alcoholic? Yes, I did hear about that. I did hear about the porn addiction. Yeah, the Royals team was stacked. John Mayberry was our cleanup hitter. John Mayberry was our cleanup hitter that year in 2015. Don't forget that, Mets fans, before the trade. If you're a depressed Steelers fan, then you're probably a Pirates. How can you be a depressed Steelers fan? If there's one fan base that should never be depressed, it's the Steelers. That is one fan base I can't ever feel bad for. The Steelers have had 7 losing seasons since the merger. They've had 1 losing season since Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback. How could you ever be a depressed Steelers fan? No right to ever be depressed. You know what, man? It was just the Royals year. It was, Jay. It was. It felt like the Mets year, though, as a Mets fan. I mean, everything was clicking. Facts, Jedi, you tell them. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, if you guys haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell. We're going to go another 11 minutes. I usually go to 11:30, so thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out, man. I had an absolute blast talking to you guys about sports all night, man. You guys mean the world to me, man. So thank you for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I love doing this, man. I absolutely love talking sports. Sacred, man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Rocky 1 I got a Rocky 1, but Raging Bull's phenomenal. I want to see you and Bad Dog call it. Oh, we're doing that. We're doing several of those, Sacred Dust, because I think the Mets play the Yankees. A lot. It's like 8 times. It's like they play them a lot. I haven't seen the schedule yet. I think it gets released tomorrow, but I know they're playing the AL East 20 games. And I think it's at least 6 games they play the Yankees. So Bad Dog and me will be probably alternating channels for that. So when they play each other. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing that for sure. But thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that. Yeah, you got it, John. Glad I got to donate to you a lot tonight. KP, man, I appreciate, man. I just appreciate you always being here, always showing me so much support. Commenting on all my videos. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Would you rather get swept by the Yankees in the World Series or lose in the NLCS to a team you have no problem with? I'd rather lose, and it has less to do with the Yankees, to be honest with you, and more to do with just getting swept in the World Series. I think if I'm going to get swept in the World Series, I'd rather lose at 7 in the NLCS and not feel the pain of getting to another World Series and just coming up short. Yeah, I think I'd rather lose at 7 in the NLCS. Obviously, both would be horrible, but it has less to do with the Yankees. Just getting swept by anybody in the World Series, I think is worse. Even though it's exciting to get to the World Series, if next time we get to the World Series, we got to win it. We got to win it. And hopefully it's this year, man. I go in every year optimistic. And the one thing I'll say about the Mets, if they get in, they got pitching. And that's what wins. Yankee fans know that better than anybody. Pitching wins. Regular season it's a different game, but in October when it's when the best pitchers are going against the best hitters in the cold weather, pitching wins. So the Mets are equipped to do that with their pitching staff and their bullpen. So get in. Let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice. Let's see. Most overrated player in Major League Baseball. Jeez. I'd have to think about that. That baseball's hard. That's hard because it's so statistically driven. I'd have to really think about it. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'll tell you, Robinson Cano. I'll say Robinson Cano because he sucked last year for the Mets. That'll be for his birthday. I'll give him. Sports Expert says, KB, you should have saved some for. Final question. You watch Homeland on Showtime. Oh, Nick the Wick, man. Thank you so much. Stand up, new member. Thank you so much for joining the channel, man. I really appreciate that. He says, and Nick the Wick's a great subscriber, by the way. Always shows me a lot of support. You watch Homeland on Showtime. Okay, that's another show I got to watch. So many people have said so many great things about that. I have so many shows I got to watch. I'm going to tell you shows I have to watch that I haven't watched yet. I have not watched. I'm watching House of Cards. I just started, like I said earlier in the stream. I'm excited to finish that. I just started, but so many people have told me that's a great show. I've never watched Homeland. I know everybody says that's great. I've never watched Lost. So many people say that's great. I've watched The Wire. I love The Wire. What's the other big one I've never watched? There's another big one I've never... Oh, Ray Donovan. I got to watch. Better Call Saul. I've got to watch. I love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is my favorite show ever. So I would assume I'd like Better Call Saul. But those are some of the shows I got to catch up on. Oh, PTA Sports is awesome. I'd love to have him back on the channel. PTA Sports is awesome, man. Total about $29. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I got to watch Cobra Kai. I have not watched that. I know that's a YouTube show. I have not watched that yet. As a Yankees fan, I'm not looking forward to playing the Mets a lot this year because they have a legitimate top 5 roster. I agree. I don't know if I would go that far, but yeah, I agree that the Mets definitely have an above average roster. I'll say that right now. I don't think they're a pushover at all. I think people just read the Mets, and Mets have a really good team. They're really young, but last year they gained experience. They got hot at the end of the year. I was so looking forward to the full season this year. I really thought the Mets were ready to pounce. But yeah, I agree with you that I don't want to play the Yankees. Obviously, I think you guys have the most talent in the sport. But yeah, as a Yankee fan, I wouldn't want to play the Mets as much as you guys are this year. I think the Mets are dangerous. I think they have a good team. Let's see what we got here. Never watched Lost, as people said it was confusing. Yeah, a lot of people said that. I still want to watch it. I still want to watch it though, Sabrina, just because everybody loves it. How did Entertainers start? LOL Asia. How did Entertainers start? I just started for fun, if that's what you're asking. How did I start my YouTube channel? Donate $1 to all Mets fans today to save them from another heartbreaking loss and stopping them from, Patrick Graham ran a lot of roaming third safety, Peppers or McKinney. What's going on, real New York Giants Mafia? Thank you for being here, buddy. Always see you supporting all the Giants people out here. And I think I know you used to be a Giants YouTuber. So, but thank you for being here. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you're going to see a lot of three safety sets from the Giants this year. Matter of fact, I think you're going to. You might see it. That might be their base defense. Like I think you're going to see a lot of three safety sets for the Giants this year. 100%. I agree with you there. Would you trade the first overall pick for Devin Booker straight up? No, I don't. I don't want to trade. No. I don't want to commit salary cap before we're ready. I want the Knicks to build through the draft. We got to hit on some young players through the draft, and then spend the money and bring in the free agency, or then trade to bring in the established player. But nah, I don't want. I'd much rather find somebody on a rookie deal. Devin Booker's great, but no. Chris, thank you for making this time much more enjoyable, man. Nick the Wick, man, thank you so much for listening, man. Thank you guys for making this time more enjoyable for me, man. Being able to come on here, talk sports with you guys. And like I said, hopefully we have sports, I'm getting excited talking about baseball right now, because baseball is going to get into the fold soon. But hopefully we got sports and we got stuff to watch and we get to experience it together, man. So that's what I'm hoping. But I appreciate all you guys. Is Jeff McNeil the most underrated Met? I mean, I think he was. I don't know if he is anymore. I think people know Jeff McNeil at this point. Like, Jeff McNeil batted like 320 last year. Jeff McNeil's legit. I think he was. I don't think so anymore. Even without Noah, the Mets will contend. Betances was a great addition. I wish the Yanks still had. Yeah, I like Betances. I'm excited for Betances. Name your top 10 wide receiver duos in the league right now. That's a tough question. I mean, off the top of my head, the Bucks have a great wide receiver class. The Lions are up there. I'm not saying they're 2, but they're in the top 10. All right. Let me think team by team. Giants, no. Eagles, no. Cowboys, obviously. Cowboys are in the top 10. Redskins, no. Lions, I said. Packers, no. Bears, no. Vikings, depends what Justin Jefferson does in his rookie year. They had it, with Thielen and Diggs. Depends what Jefferson does in his rookie year. I got to put the Saints. Just Michael Thomas is so good. So the Saints. The Bucks, I said already. I'd have to think about that. I have the Falcons definitely in there. I'd have to think about it, but those are some of the teams. Blue Collar, man, thanks so much for love, man. I appreciate it, man. He says the Mutts will win it this year and never get credit. I'll tell you what, Blue Collar, I'll take it. But if there ever was a year the Mets were going to win it, it would be a year where we played 60 games. But I'm taking the credit anyway. I don't care. Championship's a championship if we get it. And just like I'd expect Yankee fans to take credit for it. Metcalf and Lockett, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'd have to really analyze all the rosters. Yeah, Michael Thomas is a beast. I think Edwin Diaz could end up winning the reliever. I think Edwin Diaz, when you look at, and I know this because Cushman, I don't think he's in here, but Cushman is a huge sabermetrics guy. And when you look, and I'm not a huge sabermetrics guy, but I use it as a tool, kind of like with PFF. I use it as a tool. I don't it's not like the be-all, end-all for me. But when you look at the sabermetrics last year with Edwin Diaz, Diaz had more tough luck than like any pitcher in baseball last year. So I do think he could regain his form this year. I do think Edwin Diaz could be really good for the Mets. I'm banking on that. They won't be good without it. So I think he will. I think he's too good. I think he had a lot of bad luck last year. What's your expectations for OBJ in his second season with the Browns? No, I disagree, Nate. I think Edwin Diaz is really good. He was sucked last year. What's your expectation for OBJ in the second? OBJ is going to be better. He's got to be. He's going to be better. I mean, Mayfield and him got more chemistry. They improved the offensive line. They got another weapon to draw more attention away from him with the tight end. So, yeah, I think OBJ will be better this year. I expect him to have at least 7 or 8 touchdowns, at least 1,100, 1,200 yards. I think he'll have a better year. But here's the thing with OBJ. I just don't think OBJ is what he was. I don't. I still think he's one of the best receivers in the league. I still think he's probably a top 5, 6, 7 receiver in terms of talent. But there was a point before the injuries where OBJ was one of the top 5 most talented receivers ever before the injury. Not talking about accomplishments, but when you watch them play, you were like, I don't think I've ever seen 5 receivers better than this player. Ever. Ever. At least since I've been watching the sport. He's not that anymore. He's still great, but he's not that anymore. So I don't think he'll ever be the OBJ that we remember, but I still think he could be a very good receiver, a great receiver. I still think he could be a real, very good. Let's put it that way. What's going on, Rod, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. What are your predictions for the that's too hard, man. That's too hard in a shortened season. Again, I'd have to. Baseball's hard. I mean, I'm going to go with DeGrom. 3rd year, Cy Young, 3 years straight. I'll tell you that right now. But I'd have to really look it over. I mean, the Yankees, maybe Garrett Cole. Maybe we get a double New York Cy Young. But I'd have to look it over. I hope Edwin Diaz wins the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year award. Oh, my God. Jose Reyes, man, I could talk Mets for days. Jose Reyes, and I know a lot of people on my channel are not baseball fans. Jose Reyes is the type of player, and I know he's annoying. I get it. If you were not a Mets fan and you watched them do all the antics and, Jose Reyes is the type of player that if you're not a baseball fan, he could turn you into one. He was that exciting. When Reyes was at his best, I've never seen a more exciting player. Now, granted, I'm biased. I watch the Mets every day. Jose Reyes, 1st to 3rd, was worth the price of admission. Tremendous glove, as fast as they come, electric. Jose Reyes, if he was the type of player that if you're not a baseball fan, he could make you one. That's how exciting he was before the injuries. I loved Jose Reyes. Loved him. Dave gets too much flack for Leonard Williams trade and not enough credit for the Browns. I agree with that. Both Browns trades. I agree with that. All the extra time off is huge for guys like DeGrom with an aging ace. I agree with that. Reyes had a thing for big girls. I did not know that. Are the Giants going to do something special for the 95th season with their unit? I have no idea. I have no idea. Chris, there's still time for I cannot become a Yankee fan. I can't do it. Chris, who is your favorite player in baseball right now? Mets and non-Mets, because I know. Okay, so DeGrom for the Mets, like I said earlier. Non-Mets, I mean, I don't get to watch him enough because he plays on the West Coast, but I mean, Mike Trout is special. I love watching Kershaw. I'm a huge pitcher guy. I really am. I love watching pitchers operate. I'm a huge Kershaw fan. I love watching Kershaw. But, yeah, I mean, I got to go Mike Trout. I mean, he's special. He's one of the best players of all time. So I think he's somebody that you have to appreciate. Giants got to update their jersey. Yeah, everybody says that, and if they do, I like more of a retro look. But, yeah, maybe they will. Not this year, but maybe they will soon. Let OBJ piss in the Browns. Yeah, Mike Trout's insane. Stroman from yeah, I'm excited to see Stroman. Stroman pitched pretty well for the Mets. I know he got off to a rocky start, but he pitched pretty well for the Mets last year. Once he got acclimated to the National League. I'm excited to see Stroman. I think Stroman could pitch pretty well for the Mets this year. Manning should become a Hall of Famer because he stopped. Manning should become a Hall of Famer because he's a Hall of Famer. I laugh at it. Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer. Eli, we're going to close it with this, but every list that Eli Manning is on, I want you to do me a favor. Take a look at the top 8 quarterbacks in terms of passing yards all time. Take a look at quarterbacks in the top 8 in terms of touchdowns of all time. Take a look at the list of 2-time Super Bowl MVPs. Take a look at the list of quarterbacks with consecutive starts. And on that list, one thing you'll notice is every quarterback on that list, outside of Eli Manning, in every individual list, look at 2-time Super Bowl champions for the most part. Nobody debates whether or not they're a Hall of Famer. Every one of the quarterbacks. But for some reason, with Eli Manning, it's a debate. I don't get it. Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer. Shouldn't be a debate. He will be in Ohio. Probably won't be on the first ballot, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. As clutch as they come. I love Eli. So we're going to close it with that. But And not to mention, he had the most comeback wins ever in a single season. I don't got to get into it. I've defended Eli enough. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. You guys are incredible. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys more soon. Hopefully, get baseball back in the fold sooner than later. I think we'll get that soon. And obviously, football's around the corner. I appreciate all the love you guys always show me. Thank you guys for being here. Nick, man, have a great night, man. New York Giants Mafia, man, have a great night. Kevin Wall, man, have a great night. Daniel, have a great night. John, have a great night. Jay, have a great night. Jawad, have a great night. Road Dog, have a great night. Sean Torres, Afghanistan, I appreciate that. Rod, man, he's all a famer, man. Search, man, have a great night, man. Sabrina, Eli, the GOAT. Road Dog, have a great night, man. I'll be pissed again when they do. Yeah, they will. He's not going to get in first ballot. We know it, but he's going to get in. Road playoff wins. He's incredible, man. He's incredible. You got it, Blue Collar, man. Have a great night. Muhammad, man, thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hopefully everybody has a great rest of your week. And, should have hopefully a video out tomorrow. And, yeah, I'll probably be live Tuesday. And then the Giants show on Friday. So thank you guys for being here. Have a great night. Be safe. Talk soon.